What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 198 of the Tastecast, our weekly podcast where we talk all things gaming. My name's Seth, and joining me today, of course, is Chevy, who is in the center, as you guys can see here, because we have a special guest, Josh, who is back to discuss the Game Awards. We'll be talking about all the categories, all the nominees, who we think will win, and who we think or who we want to win. So we'll be kind of contrasting with that. Really excited to have this conversation. How are you guys doing? And Josh, been a while. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me again. It's been all right. Just been, doing that blue collar 9 to 5. But other than that, everything's been going pretty well.
Yeah. Good to hear. Chevy, how you doing?
Doing okay. Slept later than I wanted to today, but I probably needed
preach.
it. But yeah, otherwise I'm good.
Dude, I just got rid of. People are here like, I want to hear about video game stuff. And we're like, I've been working. I've been oversleeping. I was about to say I got a headache. It finally is going away because I slept like an asshole and my neck was just fucked up. So this is gonna be a good conversation though. I think we're all ready to have it after all of our ailments.
I got my caffeine, so.
So you guys know the format of the show typically, but this won't be devoted to the Game Awards. There'll be a really good conversation. But before we do that, two things. First off, we're having a slight technical issue, and as you can see, I think it's working fine. But OBS, when I switch from the browser to Josh, it will gray him out. I apologize for that, but he'll be here most of the time. But when you see that, I'm explaining to you right now, so you don't have to type in the comments, hey, what the hell's going on there? Secondly, we typically start the show with what we've been playing, so we should probably do that first. But because of the format, that Game Awards thing will just be there, so that's why that's there. So let's jump into what we've been playing. We're talking about the games we've been playing. Josh, you haven't been on in a while, so how about we start with the games you've been playing and tell us what you think of them.
I'm playing. I've been trying to finish Baldur's Gate 3. That's just a fucking a shit show in a real good way. Trying to figure out the best way to use my time before the end of the year. So Baldur's Gate 3 is taking a big chunk of that because I'd like to finish it for our talk about our game of the year. Playing that and playing Spider-Man 2, finished that. Put an hour into Super Mario RPG.
Nice.
The remake released Friday. Holy shit, like all I'm thinking about is like, man, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been hearing nothing but good things about it, so
yeah, it's awesome. Like it's and they did a damn good job with it. Like it really, they have kind of a unique talent to push the Switch as far as it can go. And Super Mario RPG actually does that really, really well.
Yeah, to kind of jump in a little bit, because I've also been playing that one, just to kind of help shorten this up a little bit. I agree. The game's like really, really good looking. I think I'm, I don't know, 15-ish hours in. I got 3 of the stars right now, so or 3 of the bosses beaten or whatever, and then I just got Princess Peach. I don't want to get too into how far I am, but the game is a very, very good faithful remake of the original game, while also adding some stuff, I believe, because I don't remember having like a toad ability before you have combo attacks and stuff. Maybe it was there.
No, I don't really even think. I'm trying to remember. I don't really think there's even combo attacks.
There were definitely combo attacks, but it was more like it wasn't cutscenes the way it is in this game. Mm-hmm. So, of course, I can't remember any of them off the top of my head, but the game just kind of automatically gives you a quick and easy button for it in this one. And I don't think it was maybe I'm completely wrong, but it's been years since I played it. But I also don't remember it being like a limit break style system before. That I think that's completely new. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. So
no, I mean, again, it's been 29 years, 28 years,
something like that,
since I played that game.
Crazy.
So, yeah, a lot of it's like I remember this. It's almost like, I don't know. It's like watching a movie you've seen once a long time ago, and you're like, oh, I remember this, but at the same time, I don't remember any of it.
right.
Like Schindler's List.
So,
Yeah.
Back in high school.
yeah. So
I don't know if you've gotten this far yet, but when you get to the Yoshi Island or whatever, do you remember that from the original?
Yeah, with like the racetrack right in the middle of it.
Yeah. All I know is whoever did the rhythm for the game should never make a rhythm game though, because that was brutal.
Jesus.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, I hated it. So I was just like, okay, cool. Yeah, as soon as I'm done with this, never want to do it again. So, but that's my only complaint with the game so far. But yeah, I'm loving it so far.
Yeah, I've been playing that. Got into RoboCop.
Oh yeah.
And like, this has been mentioned almost, ad nauseum, but people really respect when you take the source material and treat it with lots of care. And RoboCop is like that.
Oh yeah.
Like even to how like his partner is just his partner from the movie. Like she's almost like a spitting image. Like they just scanned her in.
Yeah, no, she looks the part.
Like how it just feels to be RoboCop is just, you're like, this is RoboCop. Like that weird. And I think, Seth, you mentioned it in one of your videos when you tried it. You're like, you thought the walking was going to be an issue, and it turned out it really wasn't.
Yep.
And like, yeah, you're right. It's not really an issue. Like, I don't feel like I need to be like booking it, which RoboCop can't do anyway. But
well, I'm glad you're on for this to be able to talk about this game, because when I was playing the game, I was thinking of like games me and you used to play a lot, where they're just like fun shooters where like you wanted to see the effect of what happens when you shoot a dude or you blow something up or you start playing around. And so you don't really want to rush through these combat zones. You want to like play around and see what you can pull off in the combat. And so the walking pace and even the speed walk, which is pretty fast, complements that almost like shooting gallery feeling of every combat scenario that happens.
Yeah, it is very like fear, like you want to play around with it.
Yep.
Like you really hope those guys don't die quick enough, quick, because like the very first level is a tutorial mission in a skyscraper, and like I don't think I shot one time down one hall, because I just kept grabbing people and I could throw them through like the windows, and I was just watching them fall down like a psychopath. And then I'd grab another one and throw them into a bunch of desks, and like the ragdolls, it's ridiculous, but it's good for that kind of game.
Yeah, in the demo, I had this person walking at me shooting. I grabbed them, and then I instantly noticed there was just fire on the ground, so I just threw them into the fire. And then I walked over, grabbed somebody else, and there was like this glass. It's not a statue, but some kind of like display thing. And I just like threw them through it. It like shattered it, and then they hit the wall and left like a crack in the wall. And I'm like, that is really satisfying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it treats everything like RoboCop with like care. Like,
and the guns feel punchy too, like that 3-round burst pistol he has.
Yeah, that thing's intense. You get a shotgun, like it just goes, and it like throws people.
Yeah,
and
fuck, I gotta buy this game.
Yeah, oh my god, it's good. I just got a move because there's a move where you can slow down time. There's a move where you can like charge, and I like use it to just like get into places just so I can start throwing people around. And I got nothing but love for this game. Like I was fucking keyed up right when the menu music was playing, the RoboCop theme and like piano. I was like, this is it, dude. But yeah, so I absolutely adore that game so far. Playing that, jump back into Remnant 2.
Good.
Wanting to, because I do want to beat it, because I think it is a strong contender for a game of the year or runner up for me.
Have fun with the last boss.
Yeah, last boss, a motherfucker.
Yeah, no, the last boss was a motherfucker in the first one too. So
this one's worse for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. This guy's. I was just like, are you fucking serious when I was fighting it?
So jumped into that. I played Fallout 4.
Oh damn.
I've been seeing like a lot of things on like TikTok and stuff. It was like, this is like a modded out Fallout 4. I was like, fuck, I kind of want to play that. And oh man, this may be telling about Game of the Year nominations and a discussion for later, but I like Fallout 4 more than I like Starfield, and I don't like Fallout 4. So, straight up. So,
I asked people on TikTok if Starfield got snubbed for a nominee for the Game of the Year nomination, and almost like I had like 3 people say it definitely got snubbed, and everybody else was like, no, it didn't get snubbed. No, it didn't get snubbed, and a lot of people were a little more blunt about it, and other people were like actually trying to have a conversation. They're like, I played it, it was fun, but when I was done I was just like, okay, and I moved on. Like it didn't do anything to really like get my attention or make me think about it later. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, because I beat it too, and I was not bored when I played it. I played through it and I was like, yeah, this is a good little step for Bethesda, but it doesn't resonate. There's nothing about it that, like, the biggest thing everyone was stoked about was the ship customization, and it is neat, but the only reason I think people are mostly excited about that is because it's like the only thing that feels new and different for a Bethesda game. Otherwise, it's basically a sci-fi Fallout almost. Like it's you just walk around, shoot shit, and find loot, and talk to people the exact same way you do in every Bethesda game. So I'm not surprised that people have stopped talking about the game, or that you're saying you like Fallout 4 more than Starfield, which is wild to hear for me, because I remember returning Fallout 4 because I was like, this is not something I would like to own in my house. This doesn't belong here.
Fallout 4 is garbage.
Yeah.
But
there are people who love that game, so I'm sure they're
people
gonna
love that game now. Yeah, it's crazy.
My problem with Starfield is, like, for a game that I feel like you shouldn't be in your menus a lot, you're in your menus a lot. Like,
and loading a lot.
And yeah, and they're like, well, you don't need vehicles. You have a jetpack. And then I'm like looking over the Martian landscape, and I'm like, that's like 3 kilometers away. I was like, I need a vehicle or something, like something a little faster.
Yeah.
Other than just running through nothingness. Like, it was, unless it's one of those, unless it's like where like the main city is, or that one cowboy city is, the Wild West city, Akita. Anyway,
the dog.
Like those planets are pretty much dead. You know, like, unless it has like a city on it, one of the major ones, then those planets are kind of fun to explore because there's shit everywhere. There's shit there, but other than that, I'm just like, all right, like, so.
Yeah, and there's like, I forgot how many plants they said are in the game, but it's like 1,000 or something like that. I don't remember, but like I probably explored 1% of the terrain of those plants, of 1% of the plants in the game. Like, I didn't explore a whole lot, and so the idea of like 1,000 plants or whatever the hell, I forgot how much it was. I had no interest in like exploring those really.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, I might get crucified for this, but like, not even in like, a lot of those planets are just not even neat in like the No Man's Sky way, where it's just a bunch of random shit on it.
Well, the intention in No Man's Sky when you're exploring on a planet is different than Starfield. And when you land on a planet in No Man's Sky, you're exploring, you're finding out what the terrain and the weather and stuff is like on that planet. As you're exploring, you can terraform, you can seek resources for later use or whatever, and you can make an argument for some of that in Starfield. But for the most part in Starfield, you land and you're looking for the nearest building type to go kill people and find loot there, and then you leave. And so when you're making a long trek between those locations, it does feel like No Man's Sky in the sense that you're just kind of walking through an empty place trying to get to the next objective. But the in-between is less important in Starfield than in No Man's Sky, where you do feel like you're kind of researching and exploring and checking out the planet itself, not looking for the next thing to do.
Yeah, and then to me that's an extreme disconnect between their older games, because like Skyrim, I'd see something on the map and be like, what's that? You walk towards it.
It's a really good point.
But then like there's stuff to do on the way there. There's things to find. You know, a crazy animal might come out of the woods, or there's a cave that's not on the map, or something like that. So, Starfield, you can literally see it. They're like, there's a ship 4 miles away, but there's just a moon, to just barren ass gray moon until you get to that ship. So, so that's, we could talk about problems with Starfield all day long.
But, we could definitely sit here. I have so much more to say, but that's not what we're here to do. So,
but that's why I'm having more fun playing Fallout, because as much as I think Fallout 4 took a bad turn with their Superman shit, you're just good at everything by the end of the game, which Starfield does too, which pisses me off. But it's still like you're still building your own story in between the points of interest. And Starfield, you just don't.
I don't feel like I was building my own story in Starfield. I feel like I was playing like a linear story-driven game with some choices where everybody was always unhappy with whatever the fuck I did. It does have like the ambition they had for Starfield, I think, distracted from the things I think people love about, but like it is a Bethesda game, plays just like one, looks like one, blah blah blah, but it's distracted from the things that people do love about that formula, in place of trying to be this big space exploring epic adventure with a story, and it just feels different kind of in some ways.
Yeah, and I feel the game's old now, but the Outer Worlds from Obsidian,
I never played that very much.
They did a really good job with the planet to planet, because like it was just little maps, but they were handcrafted, so you were still getting those mini stories in between points of interest.
That's the difference between like handcrafted locations and things that are just trying to keep you busy longer, like the more Ubisoft approach of like give them a shitload of content to do, but none of it actually has any fucking meaning to it. Yeah. Looking at you, fucking breakpoint. True.
But yeah, so that's that pretty much wraps it up.
All right, you jumped way the hell past Spider-Man 2. What'd you think of that game?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I think the first one was written better. But I think the second one, obviously the gameplay and mechanics, stuff like that, is a huge step in being Spider-Man, so and it had full of like some neat story stuff, but like I said, the writing was a little weird, and his chemistry with Miles is like kind of stilted. Like they definitely went like more towards like a Marvel approach. Like every hard moment was always like hit with like is your refrigerator running? Better go catch it kind of a moment. And like it was just, it kind of lost its punch, whenever there was anything major happening. So
which one do you like better, the original one or this one?
Two.
Okay.
Big time.
Yeah, I heard it just feels like the first game, but improved in every way with more stuff. So gameplay wise, it sounds like it would just be the better experience.
Yeah, it is. It's just like every time there's like a story beat, it just had like a weird Marvel quip in it, and I'm like, come on, guys, like you guys are fucking this up. So,
like how they're just actively doing it in front of you as it's happening. You're like, you guys are messing this up. Anything else you've been playing?
No, I tried a game called Dead Poly or Polydead.
Oh yeah,
Dead
I have
Poly.
that. That's the reason why I started playing DayZ again.
Yeah, it's. I mean, there's a lot to be desired. Let's just say that it is early access, but I was like playing with it, and I was like, oh my god. So
it's a good starting point. I think
no,
it plays smooth,
and I think it has decent foundations.
Yeah.
Like as I was playing, I was like, "Oof, this game probably needs to be in the oven for another year or two."
Year for sure, at least.
Yeah, before I'm even gonna fathom playing it. So.
Yeah. Unless you have anything else, I can just transfer over into my what I've been playing.
You go. No, you go right ahead.
So you reminded me I did play Dead Poly as well, which is interesting. I played that like a week ago, but for anybody who doesn't know, Dead Poly is like a very polygonal looking third person, I think it's first person as well, zombie survival game similar to DayZ. Somebody's trying that old genre again, and there's many games like that, but this one is pretty interesting. You run around, you scavenge stuff. You can literally pick up everything, including tables, couches, all sorts of stuff. So I can see potential later of building up and creating and decorating, your own hideout or wherever the hell. It's got multiplayer. I haven't tried it yet, so we could try it sometime unless you returned it. Did you?
No, I kept it.
Refund. That's the word.
I'm going to keep it. It was like $20. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. So. But yeah, it's got a good foundation. It looks pretty cool, but it's kind of bare bones. I think that's the big problem. You run around, you find like random boots and pants just out in fields. So there's nothing that really feels like immersive about it. It feels definitely like they're just starting to build the game up and testing systems and stuff. There was like a yard with a bunch of different colored like crates set up, almost like an obstacle course, which took me out of the feeling that I was out there surviving, and more so that I was playing in like a alpha test of a game almost. So it's definitely an early development, but it's got combat, it's got zombies. There's a lot of zombies. It has a lot of the features you're looking for in a game like DayZ, but I think it plays really smooth. It's really easy to understand. Some of these survival games can be a little technical, and I think if they can get it to a point where it has something about it that can make it interesting and stand out, I think it could be a good alternative to other zombie survival games out there. So, but I agree with you. It's definitely early days. It needs at least another year of development and vision on where they're trying to take this game and why does it exist. And so we'll see with that. On that note, while I was playing Dead Poly, I was like, man, I miss DayZ. I used to play DayZ all the fucking time, way back in the day. And I wonder where it's at nowadays. So I downloaded the standalone DayZ because I used to play the mod a lot. And my experience with the standalone back in the day when it first came out is it was broken, as everyone knows. I guess even 3 years ago it was broken. I saw on some forums people were talking about shit was broken. There's no loot or something like that. But when I was playing, the zombies were broken. They would like walk through walls and hit you through walls, stuff like that, which sucks when you're trying to survive. And zombies can just manifest through walls. So they took the zombies out of the game for like months. And I was like, okay, if the zombie survival game doesn't have zombies, I'm going to not play it. And I'll wait till they fix this shit and then I'll come back. Well, it's 2023, the end of 2023, almost 2024. And I've returned to DayZ finally. And it's in a good place. It still looks really good. But I'm nostalgic and biased for DayZ and Arma. And I think the game has this like really... more photorealistic look to it. That it's kind of like, I don't know, it almost felt like I was like home when I started playing DayZ because I remember the map. I'm looking at the scenery and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I forgot how much I love the way these games look. But it plays smooth. It's a lot easier to play now. Like the systems are a little more intuitive and understandable. Like for instance, if you have a knife equipped in your hand and you go into your menu and you have like a shirt or something in your inventory, you can drag it over to the knife and there's a thing that says combine and swap. If you just put on the combine, it'll cut the shirt up. So it's, once you understand how that works, it's easy to kind of figure out. Whereas before, I remember, or maybe I think of a different game, but you had to like right click things and look for menus and stuff like that. Everything's a little more like just straightforward now, which I like. The game is fully populated with zombies. which is good to see. And because this is not an action game but a survival game, you want to avoid combat with them early on, because you can get cut and bleed out. You can get knocked the fuck out, which I did. I was just laying on the ground. I could just hear things happen around me, and every once in a while my eyes would slightly open and shut. And I'm like, I thought I died when I first went to black. I'm like, do I respawn? What happened? And I was like, oh wait, I forgot you pass out in this game. There's a lot of old stories of us playing back in the day of I think it was Josh was running through the woods with a can of beans, but he had no way to open it. He ended up passing out in the woods because he was just starving to death. He had food, but he couldn't open it. Now I think you can do it with a rock, but I don't remember. You used to lose.
But you lose some of it or something like that.
Yeah. I opened a can of something recently with, I think it was a sickle or something, and I lost only 40% of my food. I was like, that's pretty good. So I ate the rest of it, but just the whole operation of using something that big to open a small can is pretty wild. Yeah. So so anyway, I've been running around trying that out again. I'm really happy with the state of it. I didn't see any bugs or any problems really outside of the typical slight ones you run into with Bohemia games. But other than that, it's in a really good state. I was happy to see that. So I was so happy with that I wanted to reacquaint myself with the game more, and every server I join is just picked through already, because there's a lot of people playing now again. That I am renting my own server right now for the next 3 months. It was $24, so it's not bad for 3 months. And I'm running around on my own server right now, so I'm not really running into other people as of right now, but I am getting the experience of running around, looting, surviving, finding food. There's a lot more building stuff than you used to be able to do. So I'm really interested in that. And trying to get a car running. I found a car that was sitting there. I turned it on. I was like, oh, cool. It turned on. It's ready to go. I went to drive it, and I just started smoking out of the engine. I was like, oh, shit. And I tried to shut it off, but I, for some reason, couldn't figure that out. And then when I came back to it, it was more smoke and darker, and the car wouldn't turn on anymore. I was like, oh, fuck. So typical DayZ problems. I've been doing that. Obviously, if either of you guys ever want to hop on DayZ on my server, you can definitely do that. That I'm just using it basically to get myself familiar with the game again. So when I play against real people, I'll be prepared, because I still have PTSD from the old days of playing DayZ with real people who would hang out with you for 5 hours and then shoot you in the head when you had your back turned. You really see the real human nature of what people would do in a situation like this when resources are scarce and things are dire. So it still haunts me to this day. So DayZ, I've been playing that again. I also have been playing Lethal Company, which finally streamers have been playing it, so I've been seeing it everywhere. But when I bought it, it was before that, and it's a game. It's interesting. I think it's good for laughs. If you don't know what Lethal Company is, it is I believe, 4-player cooperative first-person salvage game. It's set up similar to Deep Rock Galactic in that you pick a location. It is procedurally generated. You go in there, you look for resources. Obviously, in DRG, you are looking for specific ones and shooting stuff and surviving. In this, you are just wandering around looking for stuff to sell and surviving. There are monsters. There are turrets left behind in these buildings you go into. They're dark as shit. There's chasms you can fall into. There was one, oh my God, I fucking hated it. Me and Sarah last night landed on a planet, and it's like, oh, it's foggy on this planet. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we land, and I walk out of the ship, and I can't see a foot ahead of me. And I was like, so I remember on this planet, the building you got to go into is always to the right. So I was like, I guess we'll just try and find it. We wandered off, and I'm pretty good with directions. And we wandered off for 20 seconds. I turned for a split second, and I looked back to where I thought I was looking before, and I realized I'm not looking the direction I was looking before. And I literally was like, we're lost. I literally have no idea where we're at now. It's just over. I have no idea. So we kept wandering forward. I was like, we're going to die here anyway, so let's just see if we can find something. So we start wandering. She's following me right behind me. And And the whole time I'm just annoyed because I'm like, I knew it would be easy to get lost and happen in a millisecond. I just looked away for a second, looked back, and like I didn't recognize what the fuck I was looking at anymore because the fog was so dense. We're walking, all of a sudden we just walk into some water and we drop into a water pit. And we're both trying to get out of the water. And my guy underwater is going like, blah, 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 and I get above the water. I'm like, holy shit. And when I get above the water, I can't see anything. And then I go underwater and I come back up. And finally, I'm like just moving forward. And I find some land. I get onto it. I barely got out. And I turn around and Sarah's not there. And we're using proximity chat because the game's better that way. And it was fucking horrifying, especially because it's my girlfriend. This is like really intense for me. I'm like, are you there? And she's like, no, I'm here. It's just like underwater. I'm like looking around. I'm like, and then she literally says, she's like, and it's all bubbly when she says it. She's like, I'm dying. And then like it was silent. And I'm standing there in the fog and I'm just like, and there's no movement anymore. I'm like, holy fuck, she's just dead. So I turn around and I somehow, I just start walking straight through the fog. I find a chain link fence and I start following it along. So I'm like, here's a building. There's a building here somewhere. I move along. I find a bridge. And I was like, I remember this bridge when we first got here. We went to the same planet, but when it wasn't foggy. And I was like, when you hit that bridge, if you walk forward and slightly to the left, the ship will be there. And so I walked across the bridge. I'm just walking through just white fog. And eventually I can hear the ship. And I get back onto the ship and I was able to fly out of there. And I'm like, if a planet ever says foggy again, I'm never landing on it. That was such a we never even got in the building. We just wandered through the fog. She died in the water and then I left. So that's something to look forward to in Lethal Company. But otherwise, when you get into the building, you typically go in there. The lights are out. There's some lights on, so there's a lot of randomness. There's like steam vents sometimes that will just block vision. Like I said, turrets that will automatically target you and shoot you instantly and kill you. Random monsters. There was one time. Oh my God, there's another time. Me and Sarah, it was like Sarah's second time ever playing, maybe her first time. She's following me for a second. I go up a ladder. She goes up a ladder before we get into the building. I walk to the front door. I turn around. She's not there. And I'm like, hello? And she's like, hello? And I'm like, where'd you go? And she's like, where'd you go? I'm like, I just walked over here. Where are you? And I turn around. She's like jumping around over there. I'm like, come here. And she's like, okay. She follows me to the door. I go in the door. When you go through doors, it loads into the building. I go in the door. I turn around. She's not there. I'm like, hello? And I walk out the door and she's not out front anymore. I'm like, hello? And nothing. I'm just like, where could she have gone just now? She was literally right behind me.
Right.
So I turn around, go back in the building. I walk through the first room. I walk down this like graded pathway. And then I walk into a room and there's, what was it? There was like a cog or something on the ground that I could pick up. I'm like, okay, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to go take it to the front room. I pick up the thing. I'm walking back to the door. It's pitch black except for my flashlight. And I just hear, and just like all of a sudden I'm just fucking dead instantly. And I was just like, okay, and you can't talk when you're dead. So then I'm like spectating her, and she's just outside still running around. I'm like, how'd you lose track of me at the door? She finally goes in the building. She walks in, and the whole time she has no idea what's wrong, like what happened to me. She walks into the room I'm in, and I just watch her playing. She's like walking, and then she looks over, and there's just my dead body, and she's just staring at it for a second. And I'm like, she's gonna get killed by whatever the hell killed me. And she like walks over, and in this you can like pick up people's bodies and take them back to the ship. I think you get less of a penalty if you take the body. I don't remember. But like she like picks up my body and she's like walking back, and she doesn't get killed, luckily. So apparently that thing was just targeting me. Puts me back in the ship, and then we fly away. And I was like, this is a shit show. Like this whole game is just like, it's funny, but I'm like, I don't feel like we're making any progress here.
I feel like I've seen especially recently, a lot of clips on TikTok of it.
Yeah.
It's pretty janky looking though.
It is. Yeah. I don't know what was going on, but when she was trying to get me back to the ship, I was just spectating. I can't talk with her, and I didn't talk with her after because I thought it'd be a little awkward, but she was like she was like dropping me off the ladder, and then she would get on the ladder and climb down it. And then she would look up, and my body's right below her, but she'd climb back up the ladder, and then she would just be standing there. All of a sudden my body would just be in her arms, and she would like chuck it off again, and then she'd go down the ladder, and my body's down there, but she'd climb back up and then she'd pick it up. And I was just the whole time like, what the fuck is going on? Just take me into the ship. What's going on? Like, why are you doing this? But then I was like, but she must be seeing something different than me because why is she picking me up there? So it's buggy. Something was going on there, but I was like so frustrated watching that because I was like, what are you doing? Just go, just get in the ship. But obviously from her perspective, it was different. So, but yeah, so anyway, you find stuff, you put it on your ship, you got 3 days to meet a certain quota, then you fly back to the company building or company ship, you sell the stuff, and then you try to meet the quota. So it's a really basic premise, and it's kind of fun, but very janky, but definitely it's popular for the lulz, basically. It's just crazy shit happens, and that's why I wanted to play it with a proximity chat, because if we're playing in Discord, obviously the confusion would not be as much, because you could just be like, oh, I died, oh, this happened, blah blah blah. So yeah, I'll continue to play that. I want to get more people on though, because the game is definitely more difficult with just 1 or 2 people. You definitely want more people to be able to grab things and get it out of there, kind of on a time limit. Okay, and then last game I've been playing is Remnant 2. The Awakened King DLC has come out. Me and Chevy have been playing that, and I can kind of segue this to your games because this is my last one. Like I said in the last Taste Cast, I beat Remnant 2. It was very difficult, the last boss, but I did it, and I have been, hopping back in before the DLC came out to try and level some of the stuff I got going on. I'm using Explorer right now. That's the guy. I think we're both using him.
Oh, yeah. I don't know the name.
The archetype, yeah. Basically, he can move faster. He can drop support buffs, which is kind of interesting. You can talk more about that than me. And I think he has some passives that help him find more scrap or something. I don't know. He's basically like a supplementary archetype to make sense for like the, after you beat the game, find more stuff and get around easier. So pretty interesting archetype. I've been running that and Challenger, which I've made Challenger into a melee class that is completely viable. So that's pretty cool. I'm running around with a spear that when you hold the heavy attack, he pulls it up and he's able to throw it. So I have range as well. And it does a lot of damage. I'll just like walk up. I was literally fighting a boss when we were fighting that one boss. And at one point, I was just sitting there trading blows with him. He was just hitting me, and I was just stabbing him in the stomach with my spear. And I was like, man, if I was playing like my more DPS range class, I'd just be dead after like 2 hits. But I was just sitting there just tanking hits, and I was like, this is kind of crazy you can do this in this game.
Yeah.
Because I have the I forgot what the name of the armor is. You brought up one time. You knew it for some reason.
Yeah, it's a secret armor you have to find.
Yeah, it's towards the end of the game that you get it. But yeah, I'm using that.
So it's like Scooby, old school, like BioShock style scuba gear almost.
Yeah, or just like traditional armor, but scuba as well. Yeah, I thought you were gonna say Scooby Doo.
Definitely wouldn't.
Yeah, I was like, he could definitely be chasing somebody around in that armor. And then yeah, I'm using the Tommy gun, the Chicago typewriter, which is a lot of fun. And secondary I'm still using is the SMG, but I got a bunch of them I should be leveling. So anyway, yeah, I've been doing that, and then the DLC finally came out. I don't want to talk about it too much because it's still fresh, but I do want to say that we have put, me and Chevy have been playing together, 5 hours into the DLC already, which is pretty crazy considering I think it's a $10 DLC. I bought the Ultimate Edition, so I just am going to get the next 3 DLCs no matter what, but I think you can buy the bundle as well.
Yeah, I bought the bundle for $25.
Yeah. And it's really neat because there's a area in Remnant 2 called, I think, Lonesome or Losome. I don't remember. Something like that. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about if you played the game. That you can already play through and beat, and there's a bunch of different places you can go and explore and a bunch of items to find in the base game. But what they did with this DLC is they added a whole new section of that area, and it tells a story. It's more specific to a story arc. You enter that place. It's a little more linear than the other places, even though there's a lot of directions you can go, but less random things happening. But there's a lot of content for a $10 DLC that's not an expansion, but it is flirting with that a bit, in my opinion. Just because it adds a new archetype, it adds a bunch of new weapons and items, a bunch of new dungeons. And like I said, we've put 5 hours into this place already, so I feel like we're probably getting close to the end maybe, but definitely feels worth it. And there's a couple areas as well where you're gonna have to play the game or the DLC multiple times because you have to make a choice to get one or the other item, or sometimes
Yeah,
in
we
some
found
cases,
one that's
three.
three choices. Yeah.
So a lot of gameplay to be had out of a $10 DLC. So not only did Remnant 2 do it right with its base game, and I'm really underselling it in that, saying it that way, but they did it right. This DLC is doing it right. So Remnant 2 has been supported very well so far. I'm really happy to see that. As for the DLC's content, like I said, I don't want to go into the details of it too much, but it is thematically similar to Losum, but new locations that are very different than what we've seen before, like a lot of water areas, which I think are really neat looking. New enemy types, some of them I fucking hate.
True.
New bosses, one of them was pretty rough.
I didn't get to experience him the first two tries.
Yeah. The fight started.
He's in the trailer, so.
The fight started and he just stabbed you through your stomach and then just stuck you up like
yeah, he kills you. You don't get. There's no res option.
And I like ran over trying to get you back, and you were just like on the spike, and I'm like, ah, shit. So I almost killed him that first time, but he ended up fucking getting me. And then the second time we walked in, as soon as you walked through the gray mist, he just stabbed you through the stomach and put you on the thing again. I was like, uh-oh,
yeah,
okay.
That was annoying because I wasn't even ready either because I accidentally backed into the wall.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't want to talk too much about the fight. There's a lot of things that happen in it, which are pretty neat. We beat him. It was a lot of fun. His thing we got from him was really cool too. I'll just put it that way. But yeah, been really enjoying that. We both got the archetype, the new one, Ritualist.
Yes.
Which is an elemental based, or not elemental, status effect archetype, who's really neat. Has a lot of things that if you infect one person with some kind of status effect and kill them, it will spread it to other people. So they're definitely somebody who is going to be really good at like doing like AoE crowd stuff, which is really exciting. I think they've done a really good job with the archetypes in Remnant 2. They all feel very different, and I love that you can mix them because then you can really make some really interesting blends. Like I'm playing Challenger and Ritualist at the same time, and the Challenger I'm still using the Stomp move because I'm not really taking a lot of damage anyway, so I'm not using his other one right now. But I'm using the Stomp, and then I'm using the Ritualist's first move, which is also kind of a AoE ability. And so I'm just doing a lot of like area of effect damage while running around stabbing people with a spear. So it's a lot of fun and very different than how I played through and beat the game with the close range and long range DPS that I was leaning into the most. So I've been really enjoying it. Been really enjoying playing the Awakened King. We got to beat that, and I need to go back through and look for all the stuff I missed throughout the game. So there's plenty of. I think I have like 74 hours in that game. It's going to be easy to hit 100 hours on that game, which is great to see. And yeah, been really enjoying it. That's what I've been playing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot to add to the Remnant thing other than, if you do pick it up, I would just implore you to examine your items often.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
100%. That's becoming a more and more of a thing we're needing to do.
We've screwed ourselves once because of not checking stuff. So, outside of specifics, like you said, they've done a pretty good job with the DLC. There's some interesting dungeons as well that have either bosses or puzzles.
Yeah, Josh just did the cube boss fight. I'll put it that way, which is one I was kind of building up early on because I thought it was like a really creative idea for a boss fight, and he said he really liked it too.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm playing. I don't remember what it's called. The one with the dog.
Handler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Handler.
Handler and then
dog
whatever.
whistle.
The one that with the wells.
Explorer.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm bad with names. Which has been kind of nice because I have my dog set to give a heal over time when it howls, and then I switched my Explorer ability over to these wells. And it's funny because you just take a shovel and you dig in the ground and you can get one of like 4. Is it 4 or 5? I think it's 4 buffs, but it's random, so you can't really control it. But you can stack 3 of them. So if you let it charge all the way up, you can just make 3 wells. And if you
It's
walk
crazy
through
too because they're different colors, and if you are affected by them, you start glowing that color. And so you had like a red, blue, and a green one, and so my guy was just like RGB, fucking running around glowing different colors. I was like, this is fucking crazy looking.
Yeah, so like the green one is a heal over time, the blue one is a defense buff, the red one is an offense buff, and then the yellow one is a haste buff. So, you know, you can just throw them down. They last 45 seconds. You run through them, you get a 20-second buff. So you can effectively get 2.25, you know, buffs out of it. If you're paying attention to your timers while fighting. I'm having fun with it, though it is hard to know when it's a good time to do it, because when you're playing with people, especially someone who's playing a melee build, they don't sit still. So putting a buff bottle on them is kind of hard. But I mean, that just is what it is. Finally maxed out all my weapons, my first weapons, I should say. So my rifle, my pistol, and my melee weapon are all maxed out now. I would start working on something else, but I want to get through the DLC first before I start playing around with other things, because the DLC is definitely designed with the thought in mind that you've played a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of those mobs are super, super tanky.
It definitely does feel like after you beat the game, you should be playing this. But they also said that you will organically find this when you're running around in Loathsome as well. So, yeah, maybe it's just stacking based off of.
Well, it's definitely stacking because there's 2 of us.
Yeah.
And then I think because you chose to go there.
Yeah.
You know, after we've beaten the game, basically. So.
It was really cool. If anybody's interested in Awakened King, one thing is if you've already beaten the game, you don't want to go back through or re-roll your story to find its location in Loathsome. If you've already beaten it, you can go to adventure mode and you can just activate that DLC and start from the beginning of it, so you don't have to go find it.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that has something to do with the difficulty we're dealing with, but it's not like super hard. I just noticed when we first got in there, a certain mob type started putting rounds in. I was like, oh, it's not dying very fast. And then it hit me. I was like, oh, I almost died. Okay, cool. So have to be a lot more careful than I'm used to being. So, yeah, other than that, though, I mean, the game's a blast. I'm not, you know, done playing it. I said that even after I beat it the first time. I'm just, you know, there's other stuff I should be playing. But now that DLC is out, and it technically fell within this year, I do want to play it just so it could be part of that conversation, depending on where it falls on my list. So
it definitely enriched the whole experience.
Yeah.
Made it bigger and better. So,
so yeah, huge recommendation, though, if you're into shooters with archetypes and some Souls-like philosophies intertwined in there. So I hesitate to go completely into the Soulsborne territory with it, but it definitely is influenced. So
yeah.
Other than that, already talked about it earlier. Played Super Mario RPG remake, having a lot of fun with that. Plus, it's nice to play something that I could just take with me where I go somewhere and play still. Though I can only play for a couple minutes at a time, you know, here and there when I play it that way. And then I'm still playing, what's it called, Backpack Battler or whatever it's called. They've had 2 patches since the last time we did an episode, so they've added stuff to the game. They've added now a shovel, which can occasionally dig up items and throw them in your inventory, so you randomly will just get stuff if you made a shovel. They've added coal to the game, which is basically like a cheap gem that's accessible early on in the game. And they've changed the beginning loadouts, and you don't start with weapons now, which I'm struggling because I was just dipping my toes into ranked and getting used to just having a ton of daggers with a build that started with a dagger, and now I start with a mushroom, which is just a debuff item. And I'm like, cool, I have to learn how to play again. So I stopped playing ranked for the time being, just so I could relearn before I go in and start messing up my score or my rank. So, but it's been fun. If you're not aware, it is a PvP auto battler, but what you do is you have a prep stage, and so you have your bag and a store, and you spend your money, expand your bag, add stuff to your bag, lots of micromanaging of stats
bag
and stuff like that. And then you click find opponent. It finds someone diverse, and then they just sort, or basically they just fight and you watch and see if your micromanagement was better than theirs and your RNG was better than theirs. So, and then you just go through X amount of fights and then it ends and you do it all over again. It's been nice because it's also easy game to multitask with, because you can just set up stuff, hit play, go back to doing whatever you're doing. There's no what am I looking for? Stress to be like completely focused the whole time while you're playing it. So been fun. I like it a lot. It's just a demo right now. It's not even released. So it could be completely different by the time it comes out, and my opinions right now might change. So.
It's crazy you're getting that much gameplay out of a demo.
Yeah, they're probably getting a lot of feedback to make it while doing this, though. It's basically just early access for free. So, yeah, that's what I've been playing.
All right. Simple enough.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let us know in the comments, what games have you guys been playing? What games are you hoping to play soon? Looking forward to playing. Is there any games that we should be playing? And also, since we're getting close to the end of the year, and we'll be having a Game of the Year discussion of our own, probably in early January. I'd like to get the year done so we can have a definitive discussion. But what games should we be prioritizing? I don't think any of us have beaten Baldur's Gate 3. It's a big game.
Yeah, on that note, I just looked at my time, 150 hours.
Oh, shit.
And I'm not in Act 2 yet. This has been
oh my God,
multiple plays of multiple characters across Act 1.
Yeah, so you're getting your gameplay, but you have not finished the game. I think I'm like under 20 hours into the game, but I should have talked about it, but I won't because we're ending this right now. But I did play Baldur's Gate 3. This last week, so because I put like I think about 4 hours into it, and I walked about 20 feet because there's just so many things happening, so many people I was talking to, so many things. Like I'm walking through the woods and something's happening. I'm like, what's this? I have a thing I'm supposed to be doing, but what's this? And then they're like, this thing happened, blah blah blah. Can you help? And I'm just like, yeah, I guess so. Guess I'm helping you. So. Yeah, and that's a game I do not want to rush through. So there's a very good chance I will not beat this by the end of the year, but I would like to. But yeah. So yeah, big game, a lot of stuff to do in it, and let us know what games we should be prioritizing. Should we be beating Baldur's Gate 3? Is there other games that we should play? I still haven't played Spider-Man 2. Let us know. All right, so with all that out of the way, we are going to discuss the Game Awards nominees and categories. So we do this every year. We're going to go through, we're going to start at the very end and work our way up to the Game of the Year. We're going to talk about the games we would like to see win in that category for whatever reason we think, and then we'll talk about what we think will win, because there is a difference. A lot of times people think this will win because they want to win, and I'm like, be realistic. Come on. That's not going to beat that. So, and of course, we're not, always right, but it is sometimes very easy to tell what will win and what, like when Blade Chronicles 3 was in like categories last year. I'm like, that's not going to really win anything, but I understand people want it to win because there's a niche following to it. So yeah, we'll do that. So this is via thegameawards.com, directly from the source. Like I said earlier, if Josh grays out, it's because of our stupid technical situation, but I will remedy it quick. So we're starting at the very beginning of the very end of the Game Awards nominees. This first one is Best Esports Event, recognizing an event across single or multiple days that delivered the best of class experience or for participants and the broadcast audience. The nominees are 2023 League of Legends World Championship, Blast.TV Paris Major 2023, EVO 2023, the International Dota 2 Championships 2023, and Valorant Championship or Champions 2023. We spent a little bit of time on talking about these sometimes in the past couple of years, and we really don't care, I don't think, a whole lot about the esports stuff. So basically, I'll just jump in real quick. I want EVO to win because it's the only one out of these I think I care about. I think League of Legends will win. Chevy?
The only one I would remotely care about is EVO, and I actually think it has a good chance of winning due to the amount of fighting games that have come out in the last year.
Good point. Street Fighter 6. Oh god, Mortal Kombat. Is that an EVO game? Do they play that EVO?
Sometimes, I think.
Tekken's coming out soon. Really excited about that shit. Josh?
I would vote for EVO. This is the first year, if I'm not mistaken, that Sony's owned it. So
Yeah.
And I've heard pretty good things. And then what I think will win is probably League of Legends, just because that game is insanely huge.
Yeah.
And every time they have a live event, it's just everybody's balls to the wall with it. So
yeah, I do think either League of Legends, Evo is a good chance, or Valorant. I always forget people actually like that game because I just disregarded it as a failure as soon as it came out, and just personally, even though everyone likes it, I was like, that game's not good. No one likes that shit. But then people say they do. So, all right. Anything else to say on these?
Mm-mm.
All right, let's move to the next category, which is Best Esports Coach. The Esports Coach judged to be the most outstanding for performance and conducts in 2023. And we got Christy Potter, Chi? Yeah. Evil Geniuses, Valorant. Danny Zonic, Sorensen, Team Falcons, Counter-Strike. Jordan Gunba, Graham, Florida Mayhem, Overwatch. Remy, XTQZZZ, Quonium, Team, what does that say? Vitality. Counter-Strike, Yoon Home, Sung Young, for JD Gaming, League of Legends. Did I say JD?
Mm-hmm.
The text is so fucking small. All right, so I'll jump in again real quick just because this is kind of whatever. I want I want Yoon Hong Sung Young to win for League of Legends, and I think that'll win because I don't know anything about this and I don't care. Josh.
I don't know. I don't really care.
Okay.
I want Christine Chi to win because woman. Haha.
All right. Very funny. Chevy.
Yeah, I don't know. Out of all these games, the only one I would even be caring about, I guess, would be Counter-Strike. So we'll go with the Zonic.
All right. Moving on. Thank God. 2
more esports. Oh,
what happened?
You killed it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you hit exit.
I did. Okay. So best esports team. That sound right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got best esports team, recognizing a specific esports team, not the full organization, judged the most outstanding for performance and conduct in 2023. First up is Evil Geniuses for Valorant, then Fnatic for Valorant, Gaiman Gladiators for Dota 2, JD Gaming for League of Legends, and Team Vitality for Counter-Strike. Chevy, which one do you want? Which one's going to win?
Same logic as last time. So Team Vitality.
I will also go with Team Vitality for what I think will win and what I want to win.
And I will also go with Team Vitality for what I want to win. What I think will win is probably League of Legends.
All right. Basically, the only reason I even humor saying this is because at the very least, we can look at what does win and see if we got it or not. Other than that, I just don't care. Best esports athlete. This is the esports athlete judged to be the most outstanding for performance and conduct in 2023, irrespective of the game. We got Lee Faker, Song Hyuk, League of Legends, Matthew Zaiwu, Hairbout for CSGO. People still play that. Max Demon 1 Mazanov for Valorant, Paco Hydra, Ruiziwiz for Call of Duty, Park Ruler Jai Hyuk for League of Legends, and Philip Imperial Dosen for Apex Legends. I'm just going to go with Philip Imperial Dosen for Apex Legends for what I think will win and what I want to win. Josh.
Paco for Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah. All right. Chevy?
I've heard Faker's name before, so...
Oh, yeah, me too.
I think they'll win, but I like watching Apex Legends, ironically. So
that's the only reason I picked it.
Philip Dosen would be a personal pick then.
All right, perfect. I think we nailed it. All right, next up, we got Best Esports Game. Finally, some game talk here. for the game that has delivered the best overall esports experience to players, inclusive of tournaments, community support, content update, irrespective of genre or platform. The nominees are Counter-Strike 2 from Valve, Dota 2 from Valve. I didn't think about how they're all about the esports. League of Legends, Riot Games, PUBG Mobile, Lightspeed Studios, and Valorant Riot Games. So Riot and Valve are just in competition, basically. So the one I would like to win out of these, and I'm going to be honest here, I'm not a particular fan of any of these except for Counter-Strike 2. I like enough, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I just like it. So I want Counter-Strike 2 to win because the only one here I care about. The one I think will win is, I'm going to go with Counter-Strike 2 just because it's a new, fresh game that has a lot of people excited. So maybe it'll get some love. So yeah, actually I had an opinion on that one. Let's jump to Chevy.
I also don't really care about any of these, but
except for Counter-Strike 2. Chevy's a big fan.
No, but I like Valve enough. So we'll say I want Counter-Strike 2, but I think League of Legends.
Okay. That's what I was going to go with originally, but I'm sticking to what I got. Josh?
I'm probably going to be one and think will win is Counter-Strike 2. I think you're right. I think it's new enough that it might make a splash enough that people will have their eyes on it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We will find out. Next one up. We got Content Creator of the Year for a streamer or content creator who has made an important and positive impact on the community in 2023. The nominees are Iron Mouse, People Making Games, Quackity.
Quackity.
I have a dog named Queequeg. We call him Quack, and that's evolved into Quack. So literally when I read Quack, I just instantly was like, Quack.
Yeah.
Spreen, and then Cypherpk.
PK?
He spelled it, not me, dude. So those are the people. I know none of these people, and I typically don't care about content creators, which is kind of sad because I technically create content. But who I want to win, who I think will win, I think I want Quackity to win. I think Iron Mouse will win because it's got a anime picture. People like weeb stuff, including me. Josh.
I have no idea who the fuck these people are. Let's go with Quackity and that fucking psychopath. Is he in the Blair Witch House? Spreen? I think Spreen will win.
Yeah. That is the Blair Witch House. What is up with that picture? That was the last time he was ever seen. He's going to win for sympathy points. Chevy?
I know who Iron Mouse is. Iron Mouse is a VTuber. I also know they're pretty large. So I don't watch anyone on Twitch, so this whole category is kind of hard for me. But I would say I would want Iron Mouse to win just from what I know about her. Who I think will win, I mean, she's the only one I know of on the list, so I guess I'm just going to also say Iron Mouse.
All right. Sounds good to me, and gives me confidence in my prediction that she'll win. So, yeah, moving forward, next one up, hopefully some game stuff. Most anticipated game, recognizing an announced game that has demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward. The nominees are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth from Square Enix, Hades 2 from Supergiant Games, Chevy's most excited sequel, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth by Ryu Gotaku Studio Sega, Star Wars Outlaws Massive Entertainment Ubisoft, and Tekken 8 Bandai Namco Arika. I don't know what the hell that is, but it sounds cool. All right, so we'll start with Chevy this time.
I want Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because for me that is definitely probably my most anticipated game next year. And actually, I think it has a good chance. So I'll say I think it'll get it as well.
Okay, I'll go next. This one's tough because honestly, out of all these games, my most anticipated games out of this are Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth and Tekken 8. Final Fantasy VII I would be most anticipating, but I didn't finish the last remake, so I feel like I'd be lying to myself if I was just like, I'm excited for that. I can't be. But what do I want to win for most anticipated game? I would like to see Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth get it, just to get some love there. What I think will win is a toss-up between this is tough because Hades 2, people love Hades. So I could see that winning. Final Fantasy 7 I could see winning as well, but for some reason less than Hades. But then also Star Wars Outlaws. There are still people out there who call themselves Star Wars fans somehow, and they get excited for Star Wars stuff. So I could see a big budget AAA Star Wars game being very anticipated. So what I think will win, I'm going to go Star Wars Outlaws, just because I think people are going to be excited to play. It looks AAA and legit. So yeah, I want Like a Dragon. Think Star Wars. Josh?
All right, I'm going to be crucified for this also, but I never played Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, people hate you now.
And then so I think that will actually win is Final Fantasy.
Okay.
What I want to win is Like a Dragon. Yakuza is just my type of game. It's fucking dope. Mm-hmm. So I need to back my boy.
True. All right, next one up. Were you going to say something?
Yeah. Did you guys ever play the Like a Dragon Gaiden? The samurai one?
No, not yet. I want to.
Yeah, maybe I might do that before the end of the year.
It's on Game Pass if you have Game Pass.
Yeah.
That's how I think when I think of Game Pass too. I tell Chevy all the time, like, it's on Game Pass, and it's just like, okay. All right, next up is Best Adaptation, recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. I like the way they describe that, because we should be celebrating the ones that actually do authentically adapt and not just exist. The nominees are Castlevania Nocturne by, I can't read
Project
this.
51 Netflix.
Project 51 Netflix, Gran Turismo PlayStation Productions, Sony Pictures, The Last of Us PlayStation Productions, HBO. PlayStation is just out here killing it with the movie stuff. We got the Super Mario Bros. Movie, Illumination, Nintendo Universal Pictures. Then we got Twisted Metal PlayStation Productions and Peacock. This is the first year that I actually see competition for this. It's kind of crazy because Twisted Metal, a lot of people didn't watch it, but the people who did watch it liked it. Super Mario Bros. People loved. Last of Us, people loved. Gran Turismo, I think got mostly panned. I don't think people really cared about too much. And then Castlevania Nocturne, I think people liked. So what I would like to see win, I think, is Last of Us. I think it was good. It wasn't the best thing ever, but I thought it was a really good adaptation. And I either think it or Super Mario Bros. Will win. But I'm going to stick to The Last of Us because of the splash it made. It made a bigger splash, in my opinion, than Super Mario Bros. But Super Mario Bros. Came out as a movie, got talked about, and that ended. The Last of Us was a show that was lasting over weeks, so it had more time to have people talking about it. So, yeah, I think, and I want it to win. Let's go, Josh.
Super Mario Brothers movie, I think I want it to win, and I think it will win.
Did you watch it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was it good?
Yeah.
I still haven't
it was
seen
like it's like a legit, faithful like Mario Brothers movie. I think they learned a lot from that fucking 1990 or 1992 shit show.
Yeah,
I don't know if they necessarily learned a lot as much as they were terrified to make anything like that. They decades.
Were, but now they're all pumped up from the success of that movie, and they're making a Zelda movie. So that's
which is live action is fucking gonna be shit.
Yeah, that's wild that they're doing live action. I think they should do CGI, but then somebody also said like it should be like Studio Ghibli that makes it. I'm like, that'd be perfect. I don't think you can fuck that up then. But live action, it's like, first off, who's Link and what are they gonna sound like? Because Link doesn't talk.
Tom Holland.
Yep.
That'd be Chris Pratt.
Every time on Twitter when people are talking about casting for movies, I just always go Tom Holland, Chris Pratt, what's her name, Jenna Ortega.
I don't even know who the hell that is. Her name
like
pops up.
She's
everywhere.
like the one girl they cast and everything. That other girl too, Anya, whatever the fuck her name is, I don't remember. But anyway, there's like 5 people cast in movies, and I always just say their names. So.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the chick from the Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yep.
The chick from the Chess movie.
Yep. Yeah,
I've been out of loop for a while.
She'll be Zelda, like it's all the same. It's like they just cast the same people.
Why not Link?
It's all just they should all be Link. It's fine. Jack Black should be Link. It's
Perfect.
Fine. Or The Rock or something. It's always the same shit. Anyway, Chevy.
I haven't seen any of these, and I definitely should at least watch the Mario Brothers movie. I think Mario Brothers is going to win just because it is just all ages, and I think that just
that's fair.
Makes it
Bigger pool,
more accessible. I would like Last of Us to win as much as I haven't seen it. I love the game, the story of it, and from what I think I've gleaned from what you've said, it did a pretty good job of that. So
yeah.
And if we're doing authentic adaptation of a video game, that's kind of where my head's at. But Mario is whatever it wants to be, so I guess that can be authentic.
The rules are a little more blurred with Mario because there's so many different Mario games that you can really do more with it.
Easier hurdle. There we go.
Yeah, you messed too much with Last of Us.
It's not the same thing anymore.
One episode deviated a little bit, and that was the one that was controversial. So, but a lot of people loved it too. So it's just a war over that episode. All right, good picks. Let's move on. Next category is Best Multiplayer for Outstanding Online Multiplayer Gameplay and Design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. The nominees are Baldur's Gate 3, Larian Studios. I think we're going to be seeing that a lot in these categories. Diablo 4, Blizzard Entertainment, Party Animals, Recreate Games, Street Fighter 6, Capcom, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Nintendo, EDP, Nintendo. Okay. Let's start with Josh.
I would like Street Fighter. It's kind of a toss up, honestly, between Party Animals and Street Fighter, because Party Animals gave me like fun that you don't really get with a whole lot of games, especially co-op. It's just insane and dumb and funny. And then Street Fighter 6 is like one of the first games that just comes out the gate and it worked. So I think I will go for Street Fighter 6 that I want to win. What I think will win will probably Baldur's Gate 3. Just because I think that game's just going to start fucking
steamrolling,
sweeping this whole shit.
Yeah. There's plenty of good games here, barring one. But Party Animals, I want to win. I think that would be funny. I think it would be fun. I think it'd be cool for them to win that. They're not going to win, but I want them to. As for who I think will win, I don't think Super Mario Bros. Will win this just because I don't think people think of that as a multiplayer game, even though obviously it has co-op. I don't think you think of that game when you think of multiplayer. So Street Fighter 6 makes sense. Diablo 4 is a mixed bag just because some people really liked it and then a lot of people really hated it. So I don't know where people are at on that. And I don't know what the committee will be thinking in terms of voting for that. So I think the safe bet of what I think will win is Baldur's Gate 3 because nobody complained about it except for AAA and indie devs, but which are probably part of the committee. So they might have more of a say than anybody, but I doubt it. So
be pitchforks if they
they
complain too much during this. But
yeah, 100%. But I always tell people, I'm like, nobody dislikes Baldur's Gate 3. I haven't met a single person who has criticism of that game except for fucking AAA and indie devs.
People who don't like turn-based.
Even those people don't talk shit about it.
Sure. I was going to say, like, even those who are like, it's just not for me. It's awesome, but it's just not
it's the most nuanced I've seen like gamers be collectively is Baldur's Gate 3. The amount of people who are like, yeah, try to get into this game. I don't really like the gameplay style, but everything else is really good. I'm like, wow, that's a really just like good answer on why you're not into it, which is fine. But anyway, who else left, Chevy?
Yep.
All right.
I think Baldur's Gate 3 will take it. I am torn because I do think Baldur's Gate 3, Party Animals, and Street Fighter 6 have fantastic multiplayer. I think I want Party Animals to take it though, because that is literally what it is a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
You could argue that's what Street Fighter is as well, but bot support in fighting games I think is a little more fun than bot support in Party Animals, though I do play Party Animals that way by myself sometimes, but I think collectively it's just a more fun multiplayer game. So.
Yeah, it's interesting because like they're all multiplayer games for sure, but the three I think here about like when you say best multiplayer game. The 3 here that I would highlight would be Street Fighter 6 because that was an online hub for multiplayer.
One of the best hubs.
Party Animals because it is a multiplayer game purely, and Diablo 4 because it's basically a really light MMO.
It's a service game.
It's barely a single player game. But yeah, just because Baldur's Gate is here and it does have good multiplayer, it would make sense for it to win. But yeah, I agree, obviously, with the Party Animals. So, all right, moving forward. Next category is Best Sports Racing Game for the best traditional, non-traditional sports and racing game. Nominees are EA Sports FC 24, EA Vancouver, EA Romania, EA Sports. A lot of people worked on that. F1 23, Codemasters and EA Sports, Forza Motorsport, which I still haven't played. I forgot it even came out. Turn 10 Studios, Xbox Game Studios, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged by Milestone, and the last one is The Crew, Motorfest, Ubisoft, Ivory Tower, Ubisoft. Competition's not very fierce in this category this year. I'll jump in. I want Forza to win, and I think Forza will win. What's EA Sports FC? Is that soccer?
It's the first year. It's FIFA. It's the first year that they dropped FIFA as a brand.
Yeah, they lost the license.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'll stick with that. I think and want Forza Motorsport to win. I haven't played it though, but what Turn 10's been doing with do they make the Horizon games or is it someone else? Playground Studios.
No. Yeah. Turn 10 is straight up
Yeah, I forgot. Well, I haven't played a good Forza in a long time, so I don't know. Maybe this one is good. No one talked about it, but yeah, it looks really nice graphically, so that's why I wanted to win. I would like to try Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 though, because the first one was surprisingly really good, and this one apparently is better. So that's good to hear. But yeah, Forza quality. Hopefully it wins for that. So, Chevy.
I think EA Sports FC 24 will win.
Yeah.
That is just a global game. And then
well, it's one of those games too where people are locked in, like like Madden or Call of Duty. Like you play it every year, so it's on your mind. And when you look at this list and you go, I play that game every year, there's a lot of people thinking that would likely.
Well, and there's also people who that's the game they play all year, and they invest extra money into the gotcha mechanics and stuff like that of it. So I would like Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 to win because I would like fun, like 64 era style games to just be popular again, because everything I like serious games, don't get me wrong, but sometimes just playing a video game for the sake of playing video games is nice, man. So
yeah, we talk about often on Plus Club playing games that are just fun. Which sounds stupid because every game should be fun, but some games are more worried about the fun factor, and other games are more worried about the immersion. How intricate these systems can get, which
experience,
which is also fun. But sometimes I just like dumb fun. So yeah. All right, Josh.
I'm kind of curious about The Crew. I remember liking The Crew too.
Did you?
Oh yeah, that was the one where the U.S. was like the whole map.
Yeah,
it's a very condensed version, but and there was like
have to be
orange. There was like rando loot in the map, and there's just. I think every once in a while Ubisoft comes out with like a weird, what was that game that pretty much died but has a hardcore? It's not Steep. It's the one that came after it.
Oh, Riders Republic.
Yeah.
I played it once.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that love that fucking game, and
it's the only game that offers what it offers.
Yeah, and so I think Ubisoft have something. I don't think it'll win or anything. I just wanted to say my piece on that game.
Yeah, sure.
I think I'd like Forza to win.
He even pronounced it right.
I just
look at that.
Forza. I just think it's just I don't know. It's a pretty good outing from Turn 10. They say they overhauled a lot of systems. It was built from the ground up, so I'd like to see them get some recognition for it. What I think will win is probably EA Sports FC 24, only because it is that FIFA's the top selling game every year. So it's one of those things it's too big, you can't ignore it. So.
One thing I want to say, because I agree with you guys 100% about FIFA. that was my thought as well. Is like that game's probably going to win for sure. I should pick that as what I think will win. I'm gambling on Forza because I'm thinking possibly there's maybe a smidgen of a chance that people are like, yeah, it can't be Forza. Let's do something else. Like, of course Forza would win. Let's like give someone else a shot. Also, the reason I want Forza to win, and this is going to sound like an insult. Hopefully, no one unsubscribes because I'm saying anything about Xbox. But Xbox needs a win. They don't fare well at Game Awards, and regardless of if you fucking hate hearing that, it's just factually true. And so, like, I would like to see them win something, and that is an Xbox game that came out this year, and I'm sure it's very good quality. So, it'd be great for them to pull a win. So, that's why I want it. All right. So yeah, most likely FIFA. I'm not going to call it that shit. Just like Twitter, man, it's hard. Next category is Best Sim Strategy. Best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. The nominees are Advance Wars 1+2, Reboot Camp, Way Forward, Nintendo, City Skyline 2, Colossal Order, Paradox Interactive, Company of Heroes 3, Relic Entertainment, Sega, I forgot that came out, Fire Emblem Engage, Intelligent Systems, Nintendo, and Pikmin 4, Nintendo EDP, Nintendo. I have not played any of these games. Chevy, you dive in first.
I got a sweet spot for cities, though the reviews on Skylines 2 are not good.
Yeah, I haven't heard really anything good about it.
So I'm a little bummed on that. I haven't played it myself, so I can't really weigh in. I've seen a lot of people stream Pikmin 4, ironically. I don't know a whole lot about that series other than I remember playing the original one on the GameCube and not liking it, so I've just kind of put it off ever since.
I bet it's lit now.
Maybe
it's the fourth one.
So I think because we have 3 Nintendo games here that
yeah, Nintendo's taking it home.
The Nintendo's going to take it. I think they'll take it with Pikmin. I want Fire Emblem though because I love Fire Emblem. I just can't play them because they're massive games. So
yeah, I'm still in the middle of like two games ago.
3 of them ago, yeah. Same.
It's rough. I have the exact same opinion. I think Pikmin 4 will win just because it is one of those mass audience games. Makes sense. A lot of people played it. It'll represent more people. Cities, I don't think has a chance just because no one's talking about it. Advance Wars, I forgot came out. Company Heroes 3, I forgot came out. That's not a good sign. So yeah, Pikmin 4 definitely I think will win. I would like Fire Emblem to win as well, just because out of all 5 of these, it's my favorite of the 5. So very easy. Josh.
I think I want City Skylines 2 to win. I love the first one. It was really good.
Damn, I know that.
And I don't know. I think we'll win. I think Fire Emblem Engage kind of just like a spark, just shorted out real quick.
Yeah.
So I think Pikmin 4 will probably win.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, most of these, and it is a niche category, but most of these just kind of showed up and fizzled out, but it's because they are niche. So
sadly, it's a category I love.
yeah, same. All right, next category, we got Best Family. For the Best Family. For the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. The nominees are Disney Illusion Island, Delilah Studios, Disney, Party Animals by Recreate Games, or Recreate, Pikmin 4, Nintendo EDP, Nintendo, Sonic Superstars, Arzest, Sonic Team, Sega, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Nintendo EDP, Nintendo. So, I'll jump in first. Best family game. I think Mario will win this. It is, out of all these, the best family game. I hope families are playing Party Animals together, but Super Mario is such a given. Like you're somebody buying a game for you and your kids. What game are you going to buy out of these 5 first? It's Super Mario. What I want to win, though, Party Animals. I want Party Animals to win something. So I'll give it to that. Josh.
I think Super Mario Bros. Wonder will win. It's just too big, especially with the other 4 contenders. And then I would like Sonic to win. I think like they came out with that game. It was reviewed pretty well, but other than that, it just kind of died. I'd like to see them win something.
Yeah, it's that 4-player side-scrolling one, right?
I think so. Oh, is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah, it came out like not that long ago.
Oh, I was thinking of the open world one. No, then I still want Sonic to win something, but I'm gonna change it to Party Animals.
Okay. Chevy?
I'm going to be the third with the same exact opinion. So I think Mario wins. I want Party Animals to win.
All right. Easy enough. I don't even know what Disney Illusion Island is. I've never even heard of it.
I don't. Me either.
Or Dalala Studios. Who the fuck are you? Best fighting. For the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat, the nominees are God of Rock, Modus Studios, Brazil, Modus Games. I don't even know what that is. Mortal Kombat 1, NetherRealm Studios, WB Games, Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl 2, which I think IGN gave like a 9, so apparently they liked it. Ludosity, Fair Play Labs, Game Mill Entertainment. Then we got Pocket Bravery by Statera Studio, P-Cube, and then Street Fighter 6 Capcom. I'm going to make this real easy. I would like Street Fighter 6 to win, and I think Street Fighter 6 will win. Chevy.
I think Street Fighter 6 sweeps.
Yeah.
And I would pick it. So
Yeah, Josh.
I'm the same. Street Fighter 6 both times.
Yeah, it's just like go ahead.
I have no fucking idea what one God of Rock is and two Pocket Bravery is.
Yeah, same. And Nickelodeon is not winning. All-Star Brawl, it's not. Even if it's better, which I'm hearing it's better than the first one, which is good because the first one fucking sucked. So any improvement's improvement. So the only competition here is Mortal Kombat 1 and Street Fighter 6. And even though Mortal Kombat 1 was praised more than the last Mortal Kombat, which is good, Street Fighter 6 was like, for me personally, the standard of all fighting games being raised. And so it did that. And so for that alone, it's kind of like the leading contender, in my opinion, of the best fighting game easily, because it did something for the genre, not just exist and be fun. So, yeah. Let's move on. Next category is Best RPG for the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. The nominees are Baldur's Gate 3, Larian Studios, Final Fantasy 16, Square Enix, Lies of P, Round 8 Studio, NeoWiz Games. People will not shut up about that game. I still haven't played it, but I would like to, but people are really into it. Sea of Stars, Sabotage Studio, and Starfield. Bethesda Game Studios, Bethesda Softworks. Let's start with Chevy.
Man, this is so rough. I think Baldur's Gate 3 takes it. I'm torn with who I would pick because though I really like Baldur's Gate 3, I also really liked Final Fantasy 16, and I haven't played Sea of Stars, but I've heard nothing but good things, and it looks like a Chrono Trigger inspired game, which is a huge, like, I have it installed. I just haven't played it yet. I don't have time for all these games. So
yeah.
I'm gonna go with Baldur's Gate 3 because I've probably played it and enjoyed it the most out of what I've played here. Sea of Stars, I think, would be good. I like Final Fantasy 16. I have some complaints. So,
All right, I'll go next. I don't think Sea of Stars will win. I don't think Starfield will win. I don't think Lies of P will win, but Lies of P could have a sneaky win because there is a community of people who are very happy with that game. And a lot of them were very vocal when Lords of the Fallen came out because they were like, Lies of P better. So yeah, the only games worth talking about here, in my opinion, are Final Fantasy 16 and Baldur's Gate 3. I think Baldur's Gate 3 will win. I don't want it to win. I would like 16 to win because Baldur's Gate 3 is going to fucking sweep. It's going to get all the awards. So just give 1 to 16. It is an RPG. It is one of the best RPGs of the year easily. And I would like it to win and get recognized for that because I think it got overlooked by a lot of the stuff happening around it. And I've heard a lot of people say they really like 16. So I would like to win, but I do think Baldur's Gate 3 will win just because it is such a monolithic game this year. It is like one of the biggest games of the year easily. So, yeah. Josh?
I'm looking at probably what will win is Baldur's Gate 3. I think that's kind of a given. What I want to win is Final Fantasy 16. I think in this absolutely banger-ass year for gaming,
Yeah.
I think Final Fantasy would easily be a contender for Game of the Year on a lesser year. I I just think everything is overshadowing it, but I think it should still be recognized.
Yeah, same. All right, next one up, we got Best Action Adventure for the Best Action Adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. The nominees are Alan Wake 2, hell yes, Remedy Entertainment, Epic Games Publishing, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Insomniac Games, SIE, Sony Interactive Entertainment, I think that's what it is. Resident Evil 4, Capcom, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, everyone forgot about it, Respawn, Entertainment EA, and then the last one is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo, EDP, and Nintendo. So yeah, I'll go in first. Best Action Adventure. A little biased here. I think Alan Wake will win. I want Alan Wake to win. Alan Wake 2, of course, because I played the demo for Resident Evil 4. I still haven't played the game itself. I really want to, but for some reason it wasn't a high priority for me because I've played Resident Evil 4 back in the day so many times that it just kind of slipped through my fingers a little bit. I need to. I'll play it at some point for sure. I love Resident Evil 4, but just wasn't high priority. Still haven't played Marvel Spider-Man 2, but from what I'm hearing, it's a great game, which I expected. Just nothing revolutionary, which it doesn't need to be. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I played the first one, got halfway through it, I think, and that's about it. So I didn't have really a big jump to want to play that. And then Legend of Zelda, I think has a really good chance of winning, but people stopped talking about it. Like they talked about it when it came out, and that was it. I haven't played it though, so but I played it Alan Wake 2, and I loved it. So yeah, I think it'll win, and I want it to win. Chevy.
I think Zelda will take it.
Okay.
Specifically because
it's Zelda.
It is Zelda, but it's also devs and stuff like that are the ones picking. So
yeah, that's why I kind of lean. I feel like Alan Wake 2 has a good chance in some of these categories because I think devs are going to really appreciate Alan Wake 2 for its design.
I think not to be dismissive of Alan Wake 2 because it is my want. I want Alan Wake 2 to get it, but I think it has recency bias, so I do think that is going to help it in some
which
regards.
Can definitely be effective.
And Zelda did come out a while ago, but I just think Zelda is a monster of a game. So.
Yeah, no, I do not disagree at all because like we say every single year, if Zelda's on there, it's gonna win because it's just Nintendo and they win everything no matter what because people grew up with Zelda, they got the nostalgia for it, and it's Zelda. It's gonna be solid, of course. So.
Well, in all fairness, most AAA companies have issues when they release games, and Nintendo games come out, and they usually just work. So
yeah, we get 100%. You don't hear about Nintendo games being buggy. They're definitely the Apple of releasing games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you think Zelda? You want Alan Wake 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And real quick, the recency bias thing is 100% real because look at how much Hogwarts Legacy was panned. It's crazy. When that game came out, people were like hooting and hollering about it, and then nobody has anything to say about it now. And when I bring it up on my TikTok specifically, people tell me that the game wasn't that great, and that's not what the dialogue was when it came out. So it's been interesting to see that evolve throughout the year as other games have come out.
Yeah, and it's best-selling game of the year. I mean, maybe Call of Duty might have pushed it off because that released this month, but
it sold really well.
It was the best-selling game of the year so far.
Yeah, so I mean, like people dismissing it, I'm like, I think you forgot when that game came out how big it was. So
yeah. Let me segue. I think that Legend of Zelda will probably take it, just because it's fucking Zelda. We all know that. I'd like Spider-Man 2 to win. I think the combat and the traversal. It doesn't really have puzzle solving, but the combat and the traversal in that game are fucking straight top notch. So
yeah, that is part of the category too, is the puzzle solving, which Alan Wake 2 definitely is full of puzzles, which sometimes I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it, puzzle. I'm not a big puzzle guy, but so does Zelda, so it makes sense.
Resident Evil, basically a puzzle game.
Yeah, but it also, a lot of people say that remakes shouldn't even be nominated. I don't agree with that at all because it's a brand new game built from the ground up, so it is a new game, but just a remake of an older one. But I do think that because they are puzzles that probably existed in the game before, they're not as exciting as like brand new puzzles in a brand new game. So I'm just kind of dismissing it for that. But it is full of puzzles as well. It's similar to Alan Wake. So
before we move on, where the fuck is Dead Space?
Good question. Because Dead Space is easily one of my favorite games of the year. So I would also like to see it represented. But I knew as soon as Resident Evil 4
this year, man.
Yeah, 100%. That's the big thing too. When people are like, "Where's this at? Where's that?" I'm like, "Well, there's so many good games, and like, what do you replace on the list with the game you want on there? Are you saying they don't deserve to be there? Because it's hard to say that. All these games I think deserve to be here. But a lot of people keep asking why Resident Evil 4 is even on these lists, and I'm like, because Resident Evil 4, like that's a legendary game. But yeah, it's rough. But yeah, Dead Space, I agree. Dead Space was phenomenal. Made me a huge fan of Dead Space. All right, moving on. Everybody went, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Best action game. For the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat. The nominees are Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon from Software, Bandai Namco, Dead Island 2, Dambuster Studios, Deep Silver, Ghost Runner 2, One More Level, 505 Games, Hi-Fi Rush, Tango Gameworks, Bethesda Softworks, and Remnant 2, Gunfire Games, Gearbox Publishing. I'm going to be fucking 100 with you right now. This is the hardest one on here for me, just because Remnant 2 is fucking awesome. I love the game. It's better than the first one every way. Armored Core 6 is fucking awesome. Dead Island 2 is actually a lot of fun. Like, I went back and beat that, and I was having a blast. Like, it has some of the best melee combat and gore systems that I've seen in years in a game. And it really didn't get any recognition. Like, so I'd like to see that. Also, fucking shout out to Hi-Fi Rush. That shit came out of nowhere when people were talking shit about Redfall. They're like, this game sucks or whatever. And then they popped out Hi-Fi Rush or whatever, or it might have been vice versa. It was close together. But everyone just loved Hi-Fi Rush.
Anytime anyone brings it up, people just gush about it. So.
Yeah, I played it for a couple hours, and I really liked what they did. It feels like a super, like, not unique, but like it has its own flair going on in a year of, action games and shooters like that. It just was really cool. So this is a really hard category for me. The game I think will win. Oh man, I kind of think Hi-Fi Rush might win just because of it was the only game for Xbox this year that people praised across the board. But I also feel like Remnant 2 might win because it's also super praised. I don't think Ghost Runner. I don't think Dead Island 2. Armored Core is still niche. The niche got bigger, but I think it's still niche. I think a lot of people didn't play it still. So I almost don't want to say I think it'll win. So I think it's between Hi-Fi Rush and Remnant 2. I don't know. That's really tough. I'm gonna play it safe. I think Remnant 2 will get it. What I want, fuck. I don't think. Oh my god. I want Remnant 2 to win. I also want Armored Core to win, but I'm going to stick with one, I think, and want Remnant 2 will win. That was the hardest thing in my life. Chevy.
I want Remnant 2 to win. I haven't played Armored Core 6 yet, and though I'm sure, whenever I do, I'll enjoy it to an extent. I don't think I'll put the same kind of like time into Armored Core that I could put into Remnant. So, I think Hi-Fi Rush takes it. People, since it has come out, even to today, still just talk it up. And I think that this is a lot. I think that'll be reflected also with whatever their committee is based off of as well. I also think, to throw it out there again, it'll be a W for Microsoft. This show. So.
Yeah, that was a lot of the reasons why I was thinking it's going to win too, but I'm just being stubborn with this one. But yeah, I also kind of think it's going to win, but Remnant 2.
And I'm not trying to downplay the game. I've heard nothing but good things, but
yeah,
I do think it'll be a factor, unfortunately. So.
Also, it's a fucking W for Tango Gameworks because I love everything that they're making, and that they made this, which is completely different than everything else they make, and it was also awesome. Just shows Tango Gameworks is like talented.
Yeah,
they can make fun games. So.
Tango was Ghostwire Tokyo, right?
Yeah.
And The Evil Within 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually do horror.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
I'm going to go ahead and... I want Remnant 2 to win, only because the combat in that game is straight superb. It is very mechanical, but there's nothing holy shit when you get, like, the good shot and you watch something just blow up, you're like, yeah, that was good. That felt real nice.
Feels good, man.
Yeah, feels good, bruh. So I want Remnant 2 to win. I think Armored Core will win.
All right.
I think From Software is kind of, I think in a lot of people's eyes, they're still riding high from Elden Ring. And then they bring something back that hasn't been seen in years. And it's the best. It's like one of the best iterations that it's ever been. Got a lot of new fans. Got a lot of people talking about it. I think it has a chance.
Had a lot of people who couldn't get past the first boss and had no way to change their gear out, so they said the game was fucking busted and bitched about it.
That is every single game.
I know. It was just sad because like I was like, oh dude, From Software's gonna sell the shit out of this game for sure. I've made all these videos about it. I was right about that for sure. But then like I played that first boss and I was like, oh no, dude, people are not gonna be able to beat this and they're gonna be pissed. I beat him because I'm a gamer, but
fast.
Huh?
I said they're gonna get filtered fucking fast because
and
the same thing happened to me. Like I like fought him and it killed me almost instantly. I was like, oh, it's one of these.
Yeah.
You know, like I gotta be on my shit.
Yeah, as soon as the fight started and I was just like hitting him and barely doing damage, I was like, oh fuck, okay. That's what we're doing here. This is just seeing if you should even be in this game or not. And so yeah, a lot of people got filtered out and weren't happy with the game, so that was kind of disappointing to see.
I would warn those people going forward, when From Software releases a game, the first boss is usually a hey, this is the game.
Yeah, get ready because this is the game. Which I think is good because you get over that peak and then the rest of the game, it doesn't feel like the peaks get really crazy high. You just kind of like, okay, these are all just gonna be challenging. Yeah. It's not like Remnant 2 where you play through most of it, you're like, this is kind of hard, and then the very end guy, you're like, what the fuck, dude? They're just like, you think you're gonna beat this? You ain't beating this. Okay. And a real quick thing, I want 4 of these games to win, so it's all wins for me. But yeah, I'm gonna stick to my guns with Remnant 2, just because I did see a huge increase in people talking about that game this year, so which was awesome to see. As a huge fan of the first game. All right. Next category is Best VR AR for the best game experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform. The nominees are Gran Turismo 7. Let's try again. Gran Turismo 7. Polyphony Digital, SIE. And next one is Horizon Call of the Mountain, Guerrilla Games, Firesprite, SIE, Humanity, that LTD, Enhanced Games, Resident Evil Village VR Mode, Capcom, and Synapse by N-Dreams. Let's start with Josh.
I would like Resident Evil Village to win, only because all I've heard is good things about it. They didn't make you pay for it; they just gave it to you, which was kind of cool.
But it's only on PS5.
And yeah, I mean, it is only on PS5.
That pisses me off so much.
Three of these are only on PS5.
Yeah, that's true.
Shout out to Sony for supporting the real ones.
I also think that Humanity was really cool.
Fuck is Humanity?
It's like Lemmings, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that weird Lemmings like game. And then, but I think Gran Turismo 7 will take it home. I just think that Horizon Call of the Mountain, it kind of just came and went. Oh, I mean, a lot of PSVR 2 games kind of just come and go. And I haven't heard anything about Synapse, but
let's be real, dude.
7,
no one gave a shit about Horizon Call of the Mountain. I didn't hear anybody speak about that. That was like a fucking, okay, you got your PSVR 2, here's a tech demo.
Yeah, but Gran Turismo 7, I've heard nothing but good things about in
it's
VR,
awesome.
So I think that'll take it.
Interesting.
This one's tough for me because I think basically the discussion here is Gran Turismo 7 and Resident Evil Village VR mode, and Chevy corrected me correctly in saying these are mostly just on PS5. I guess I'm just pissed because if I got a chance to play Resident Evil Village VR, I would be playing it because I fucking love Resident Evil Village. It was so good, so fun. I would still play it. And I've loved playing in VR. So, but because I can't, because I don't have a PSVR 2, I guess that's it. But then the same conversation could be had with Gran Turismo 7, but I've played Gran Turismo 7, so I guess I played both. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard because I haven't played either of them. Well, no, I tried Gran Turismo 7 in VR, and it was really fucking cool.
I tried both in VR.
Did I try Village? I played a demo.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, dude, my brain is not working. I don't remember any of this.
Honestly, I was sitting there when you played both of them.
Man, I want and think both of them will win, but I need to stick to it. I realistically think Resident Evil will win just because it's Resident Evil and people love Resident Evil. I think people love Resident Evil more than Gran Turismo, which is sad because I love Gran Turismo. So that's why I think it'll win. What I want to win is both. Gran Turismo 7. I want that to win. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to have to disagree on Gran Turismo 7. I think its implementation of VR is pretty meh. I mean, even the fact that if calibrated even remotely wrong, that you're allowed to sit halfway outside of the car like you did is not a good thing.
Yeah, they probably fix that. That's a good point, though.
So, I think and want Resident Evil Village VR to win. It is a full game, all in VR with VR exclusive mechanics. The rest of them feel, with the exception of Horizon, the rest of, to my knowledge, feel like tacked on, add-on things. Horizon, I've heard the VR stuff is amazing, but it is something that was designed to show off the PSVR 2, but it was a come and go thing. I think Resident Evil is the better choice. So
yeah. That's what I was saying, dude. I want both of them, but you've swayed me. I'm gonna go want and think Resident Evil just because the full implementation of VR stuff I think is a better package overall for VR than being able to look around while driving. But I really liked the Gran Turismo 7 VR. I thought it was really neat. But you're right, does feel kind of tacked on in terms of how you sit. But I'm also used to VR being janky anyway because it's new tech. So. But yeah, I'm going to pull back on that because I do agree with you on that. I want and think that as well. All right, next one up. Wait, did everybody go? Josh went? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, I remember what you said. Best mobile game. For the best game playable on a mobile device, the nominees are Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, Applebot, Square Enix, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Sunblink Entertainment, Honky Star Rail, Honkai, by Hoyoverse, Monster Hunter Now, Niantic, Capcom, and Terra Nil Free Lives, Netflix. So I'll jump in first on this one. I want and think Monster Hunter Now, just because it's the only mobile game here that I've played for more than 5 minutes. I think it's a legit Pokemon Go-esque game that's Monster Hunter. So yeah, well actually, no. No, I think Honkai Star Rail will win. I think that will win. But I want Monster Hunter Now to win. The only reason I think Honkai is because I see the advertising everywhere. I assume a lot of people are playing it. And their other games have done really well as well. So, but I would want Monster Hunter just because I think it's solid for a mobile game. I'm not a big mobile game guy, though. I did play Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis and was confused on why it existed as I was playing it. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Chevy?
I have played a couple of these. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, I think, is a pretty fun game, but it is very riddled with mobile game design in the way like the menu system works. But it is kind of cool that you get to play through the entire Final Fantasy VII storyline through different chapters. And then because of the mobile game, they have the added factor of you get to roll for costumes and weapons and stuff like that. So I think it's good, but I don't think it's going to be for everyone. I think Monster Hunter Now is the one I want to win. It actually feels like a small entry into the Monster Hunter world. It plays, like it's trying to be a Monster Hunter game, and the only complaint I have is it's very grindy after level, was that 30 or whatever?
Yeah.
It's rough.
That's where the fall off happened.
I know, and I would put money on it that Honkai Star Rail or Honky Star Railer,
hell yeah,
will win because it makes insane money and has an insane amount of people playing it. I actually was looking at mobile game revenue last night, so it's up there. Though Monster Hunter has made a crap ton of money. I had no idea it made that kind of money. So
yeah,
it's like 50 million or something like that.
Yeah, people were playing it, which is pretty cool to see. Yeah, I went all in on Monster Hunter just because I was like, yeah, that one's pretty good. It actually, it gave a reason to actually play a mobile game because you need a phone to wander around to play it. So it just feels more like, why does this even exist? Yeah, it exists because, it's a game you got to walk around and find things. So it's a good implementation of mobile gameplay. So as I was sitting there saying, I want and think, I like just glanced over and internally my brain was like, fuck are you talking about? That's not going to be Honkai Star Rail.
Yeah.
So
I say Hoyoverse could release a game where there's just an anime person on a plate and all you can do is poke their belly and it would be the most played game on mobile. So.
Yeah, dude. They can call a game honky and people are like, sign me up. Josh?
I mean, I'm not a mobile guy. In fact, I quit Monster Hunter now actually pretty quick. They had Tacticus on here. I might think about that, but
oh yeah,
I want Monster Hunter now to win just because I think it does do things well. I think it's really cool to be in the Monster Hunter universe, especially in that Pokemon Go way. Hoyoverse, they made
Genshin Impact.
Yeah. And I think that people are probably as huge as Genshin Impact is. I think a lot of people are just kind of gonna mosey on over to Honky Star Railer, and so I think that'll probably win.
Yeah, I'll be happy to be wrong with that though, but I just feel like that's where it's gonna go. All right, next one is best debut indie game for the best debut game created by a new independent studio. This is the controversial topic because what is it?
I can't remember which one it is. One of them is not a.
Is it? I don't think it's on here anymore.
I don't remember.
I don't think it's here anymore. Did they get rid of it? Wasn't it something else?
I don't remember.
Anyway, listen on the comments. I could have swore it's a different game than it's on here. I don't remember this Pizza Tower game being here. But anyway, we got Cocoon by Geometric Interactive, Annapurna Interactive, Dredge by Black Salt Games, Team 17, Pizza Tower by Tour de Pizza. I love that the dev is called Tour de Pizza, and they made a game called Pizza Tower. Venba by Visai Games, Viewfinder by Sad Owl Studios, Thunderful Publishing. I haven't played any of these games.
Same.
Not a single one. So, I heard a lot of good things about Dredge, so I think that'll win, and I want Pizza Tower to win because I like pizza. Josh?
That Pizza Tower made by Tour de Pizza reminds me of that Fear kind of successor where they just named the game after the studio.
What game?
What was that? There was like a Fear something 2. It's like somebody made it as like slow-mo mechanics, like a spiritual successor to Fear.
You're talking about Trepang 2?
Yeah, and the devs are called Trepang. It's like, all right. I've heard a lot about Dredge. I've seen and people streamed it for a long time. And I haven't heard about any of these other games at all, if I'm going to be 100% honest. So I think I want Dredge to win. I think it's going to win.
All right. Chevy?
I think it is between Dredge and Pizza Tower because I've heard of both those games, though I've seen people stream Dredge. So I'm going to say Dredge wins. And I just love that picture for Pizza Tower. So I'm just going to say I want that one to win. So,
yeah.
That's how the game looks. Like, it's that art style.
It's funny. I like it.
So I was correct. Dave the Diver
Yep.
was apparently taken off because it was
Had X on money.
Yep. So sorry, while I was looking it up though, you said Pizza Tower you want to win, and
I think Dredge wins.
Dredge wins. Okay, got it. I just really wanted to check that because that was like a big controversy. I was like, if they actually took it off because of that, I mean, that sucks for the people who made Dave the Diver, but. Even like myself, when they said that, I'm like, yeah, if it's not indie, why is it here?
Well, it's funny too because the at least from what I heard, or at least what I gathered from it, was that the only complaint wasn't that the game. I heard the game was good.
Yeah, no, a bunch of people were talking about it.
But it's just who invested into it makes it not indie.
It's just unfair.
So, yeah.
because it shouldn't be there. It's like putting fucking Baldur's Gate 3 in the fighting game section. It's like, why would you do that?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, you're fighting it, dude. They fucking fight. All right. Next one up is.
Oh, what happened?
There's Dave the Diver right there, baby.
Go forward again.
Debut.
Okay, we weren't there yet. It's still there.
I jumped the gun. Apparently, it's still here. So you guys know the whole thing. Then it didn't get taken down. I retract everything that I said. Okay, so best independent game for outstanding creative and technical achievement in the game in a game made outside the traditional publisher system, not including Dave the Diver. The nominees are Cocoon, Geometric Interactive, Annapurna Interactive, Dave the Diver by Mint Rocket, which is also, would you say Nexon or
X, like oil? Exxon.
Oh,
like
Exxon.
I'm pretty sure. Put money into it.
Oh,
I might be wrong.
Yeah.
I'll look it up real quick while you're
I'm kind of on the nose.
Dredge, Black Salt Games, Team 17, Sea of Stars, Sabotage Studio, and Viewfinder. So basically everything from before except for Sea of Stars and Dave the Diver. Controversy aside, Chevy's
I'm just looking up real quick.
looking up kind of quick. Okay, so let's start with Josh.
Okay, this is gonna be quick and easy for me. Sea of Stars.
Yeah,
both, just both. I think they did something cool with this game, and it does give people a lot of those old Chrono Trigger vibes and kind of scratches that itch. And I think it really shows that there is that type of RPG can be mined a little more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chevy.
I still think Dredge is going to take it, but I would really like Sea of Stars to take it. I think it looks fantastic. I just need to play it, but from people I've talked to and stuff I read online, it's really good. So,
yeah. I would also like to see Sea of Stars win it, but I do also kind of think Dredge is going to win only because out of all these games, it's the one I heard the most about. I did hear quite a bit about Dave the Diver, but I do think after the controversy, even though they didn't take it down, I was wrong about that. I do think people in the committee likely will not want to vote for it because of the backlash and controversy it'll bring. So they'll probably pan it, and I assume they will want Dredge as, everybody voting will probably want as well. I do think Sea of Stars was well received, but it is a game that like most people probably didn't play. So I don't see it winning. All right. Next up, we got Best Community Support, recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates patches. The nominees are Baldur's Gate 3, Larian Studios, Cyberpunk 2077, CD Projekt Red, Destiny 2, Bungie, Final Fantasy 16, 14, my bad, Square Enix, and No Man's Sky, Hello Games. Now, I think there's two community topics. Oh, something similar, but it's ongoing. So just to be clear, this is for recognizing transparency and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates patches. So basically, just being connected with the community and making sure you're paying attention, listening, and doing what people want from you. I think this one's pretty tough because I think all of these guys belong here for sure. I would probably knock Destiny 2 out just because people seem to be unhappy with it, but
most of the time.
Yeah. But for the most part, I think there's a really good case to be made for Cyberpunk 2077, specifically with how far it's come, how most people agree now it's just solid, and people really liking the expansion. 14, of course, is something me and you pick a lot every year just because they've been doing a great job with just keeping that community happy. You don't hear a lot of people just bitching about 14 ever. I don't hear that ever. No Man's Sky, I think, is a great underdog story that I think, even though a lot of people still disagree, I think it's made up for everything and is a great game now. And then Baldur's Gate 3 is an interesting pick in this because I think a lot of people will vote based off of just it being really a great game. But like in terms of the topic at hand, it's an interesting one because it's only fully released this year. It hasn't had the same kind of like longevity outside of it was in early access.
So I think they're basing it off early access and changing things based off feedback during that period.
Yeah. And so I would only say that it's not necessarily about the caliber of how much you love that game now, but that connection with its community, which I think they did a good job. But I think a lot of these people did a really good job here. So just kind of thinking out loud with the thoughts on that. I would like to see. I think Baldur's Gate 3 will win. just because of how popular it is and how well it did. Although I could see Destiny 2 winning just because it's a lot of people play it, even though they bitch all the time. But I don't know. I can see people voting for it just because they play it. And Baldur's Gate 3 did. I played that shit when it first came out in alpha, and it was very unfinished, and they've done a great job turning into a game that people love. So I can see it winning for sure. I would like to see Cyberpunk 2077 win. I hate saying that because obviously I think 14 deserves credit every year, but Cyberpunk 2077 has really turned itself around. Taken long enough, but it did. I think most people agree it's great. I think even under all the heavy criticism the CD Projekt Red received working on the game, they were able to keep their heads down and knock it out of the park and release an expansion that people seem to really love. And so I would like to see them recognized for that, because it's just been a mess for them for so long now that I just think we should just be in the positive place when it comes to CD Projekt Red and what they've made at this point. So I think Baldur's Gate 3, I want Cyberpunk. Josh.
I want Cyberpunk just because Cyberpunk 2.0 has completely reworked the system, and kind of they listened to all the feedback, and they've kind of taken heart with everything there. They were really kind of responsive and fun with when Edge Runners came out.
Mm-hmm.
They were very they added Edge Runner gear and little nods to it and stuff like that, which made it fun. So I think that in Cyberpunk 2077, I wanted to win. What I think will win is Baldur's Gate 3. Something that Baldur's Gate 3 is actually doing, since part of the category is game updates and patches, is they're doing the Elden Ring thing. Is that they've actually added dialogue and different outcomes to certain things, and how with what you say due to patches. So the game's evolving as well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So you can start a brand new game. It's going to be a different story now, so, and Elden Ring did the same thing. It just kept adding on a story paths for NPCs and stuff like that. So I think Baldur's Gate 3 will take it though, but I want Cyberpunk 2077 to win.
Yeah, fair. Chevy?
I'm biased, so I want Final Fantasy 14 to take it. Though I do think it is the year of Cyberpunk when it comes to this category, so I think they'll win. Just because of the constant positive reception of it, and then them successfully releasing the DLC. So
people post videos all the time on the combat in that game now, and they're like, "What game can you do this in?" And they're doing all crazy shit, and I'm like, "This is what I want to hear about the game, is that kind of shit." Because a lot of that already kind of existed in the base game already, but they've just cleaned it up and made it so good now that people just can just talk about that now. So
and I also want to kind of just throw it out there. I think outside of Destiny 2, they all deserve to be in this category. So
yeah, no, I agree 100%. That's why this one was rough for me. All right, next one up, we got Best Ongoing awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. So this is basically the evolution of the game over time and how they've handled it. Those games nominated are Apex Legends, Respawn Entertainment, EA, Cyberpunk 2077, CD Projekt Red, Final Fantasy 14, Square Enix, Fortnite, Epic Games, Genshin Impact, the Honkyverse, Hoyoverse. All right, so let's start with Josh on this one.
I want Final Fantasy 14 to win. That's all they do is win. So let's just keep that rig rolling.
That's a good reason.
They just constantly have stuff coming out for that game. Even when Yoshi P took the time off to go do Final Fantasy 16, there wasn't really a whole lot of complaints there. Things just kept moving. So, I mean, it's just unstoppable force, man. Just keeps moving. So I do want that to win. What I think will win is Fortnite. They just released the 1.0.
OG.
That they just released, the OG, which a lot of people seem to be enjoying. And Fortnite's fucking huge anyway. So it's all fun and games till somebody builds a fucking a condominium over you.
Yeah, it's wild. They still do that. It's crazy. It's funny to see how many people complain about that still. Back in the day, I thought everyone just did it, and I was the only one who just didn't want to do that. But people are like, I mean, they released no build for a reason. So, yeah. I always want Final Fantasy 14 to win every year, but I'm going to go with Cyberpunk 2077 this year. I would like to see them win as well because it has been an ongoing battle, and finally they've hit the finish line in a good way, and they can start thinking about their next games. And so I think it'd be a great way to send off the journey that has been Cyberpunk 2077. So I would like to see them win, just because the game has evolved and finally got to a point where everyone likes it. I think Fortnite will win as well, especially with seeing the fervor, the fucking absolute just celebration for the OG, whatever the hell that came out that I played a little bit of. There are so many people playing that shit, so many people talking about it. I made like a little joke TikTok about it, and a bunch of people were stoked that I even was like making content about it. And I'm like, nah, don't expect Fortnite content from me at all. And so, yeah, I could just see it winning. It's even though, like, on a personal note, has it evolved a lot? It has over the years, but this year in general, like, I don't know, maybe it still felt like Fortnite to me. So, but yeah, I can see it winning for sure. I think it'll win. Chevy,
I think Cyberpunk's a weird one in this category.
Yeah,
because they're all service games and Cyberpunk's not.
It is a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I want Final Fantasy 14 to get it. I love that game. I do think recency bias with Fortnite pushes it into it. Otherwise, I would normally say Genshin, to be honest. I think Genshin would win.
I was thinking about that as I was looking at it. I was like, Genshin Impact, I feel like could win for sure, but Fortnite is what has been talked about lately.
Yeah, I think Fortnite takes it. I want 14, though.
Yeah. It's a good point to bring up, though, Cyberpunk. It has definitely evolved with its content over time, and an expansion came out, but not in the same way as the rest of these games. So it is interesting they threw it in there, but I still want to win. So
sure.
All right. Next up, we got Games for Impact for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. The nominees are all games I never played. A Space for the Unbound, Mojiken Studio, Toge Productions, Chorus, Chance of Senar by Rundisk Focus Entertainment, Goodbye Volcano High by Co-op, Tachia, Awakeb, or Waseb, I'm not sure, Kepler Interactive. The next one is Terra Nil, Free Lives, Devolver Digital, Netflix. I don't even know what that is. And then Venba by Visai Games. And yeah, so I'll go real quick. I want and think Tachia. Just because out of all of these, I saw that one advertised the most. I saw a little bit on Goodbye Volcano High. It doesn't look like my kind of game. Terra Nil, I vaguely remember. The other games I have no idea about. So if other people are playing like Games for Impact, you've played all these games because you love games that impact or whatever the hell. Maybe you know them all. But yeah, the only one I heard the most about, and it's mostly on Sony stuff, was Tachia. So I feel like it's a safe bet that it'll win because it was advertised so much that people probably played it more than the other games. And I want it to win because the name's fun to say. Josh.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go want and think Tachia, I guess. Games for Impact is not my fucking cup of tea.
Yeah.
I play games for a completely different reason. So
yeah, fair.
But Tachia was like, I remember seeing the trailer for that. That's really fucking cool looking. You know, she's gliding and sailing and turning into foxes and shit. If that's the one I'm thinking of.
Most of that I remember, yeah.
So yeah, it looked like a cool game, but yeah, it's just none of these games are my cup of tea. But Tachia.
Yeah. Chevy,
who I am super ignorant on everything here. I'm just gonna throw some pitches and hope they hit.
See if you win, dude. It's gambling here.
I like the art on Space Runbound, so I'm gonna say that is my want, based solely on that picture. And I've seen Terra Nil on the list a couple times, so I'll say it wins.
All right, fair.
I have no clue.
I just remember seeing Goodbye Volcano High, and it was like a super moody, like indie film, like a bunch of kids playing guitar and just like,
you don't understand me, Mom.
I don't know what I'm gonna do in the future. Like, oh well, you can just take your time and think about it. I'm just like, okay, I don't know what the point of this is. All right, moving on.
I was gonna say it has like a neat kind of like base, but it's about the extinction of the dinosaurs. So they're just kind of counting down the time. Yeah.
I'll say it just looks like a furry game to me.
That's what I thought too. Josh knows more about it than we do, so good to know. So don't sound like complete fucking idiots. Innovation in accessibility, recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. The nominees are Diablo 4, Blizzard, Forza Motorsport, Turn 10 Studios, Hi-Fi Rush, Tango Gameworks, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Insomniac Games, Mortal Kombat 1, NetherRealm Studio, and Street Fighter 6 Capcom. We always say this every year, but all of them are winners because it's cool that people even go out of their way to do that. We like that standard has kind of been created, that people are making ways for more people to play games. Even that new PlayStation controller that has all the weird buttons and stuff all over the place.
Yeah, their take on accessibility.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to pick one up because I'm like, what could you do with that thing? Like that's wild. You just have all these things hooked up and use your foot and stuff. But
yeah, both them and Microsoft have come out and made like controllers, for people with different needs. And it's cool that I don't want to like pat a multi-billion-dollar company.
Well, they're doing
too much.
They're doing it for money. It's new avenues for money.
They didn't have to make that either. So.
Sure. It's just cool, like as a standard that everyone's working on that to get more people playing. Because even though it is just more avenues for them to make more money, it does give real people the ability to play games they couldn't play. Like I think about sometimes
and participate in things that their friends and stuff are doing. So
sure, yeah. I think about sometimes if my hands got blown off or something, I'm like that would really suck because I couldn't work on music very well. I couldn't play games like that. So
I don't think I can have this conversation without being really morbid. So yeah.
Sure.
Let's keep our hands.
So yeah, so it's just cool that people are even working on these kind of things. So and there's more than just physical stuff like that. Some people with vision stuff like that, which I'm blind too. So anyway, that being said, what I think and what I want, I don't know personally what they all brought to the table in terms of accessibility. So this is basically going to be kind of an educated guess. I think Marvel's Spider-Man 2 will win, because a lot of people played that, and I'm sure a lot of people, just a huge pool of people are playing it. So I think it has a good chance of winning, especially if it had accessibility features that were good. And what I want to win, I want them all to win for that, but I'll just go Spider-Man as well, just because it probably had. Sony's really good at ever since Naughty Dog and stuff, implementing really good features for everyone to be able to play games. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Chevy.
I think Spider-Man will get it. I have even heard people say that it was really good about it. I know every time I turn on a Microsoft game, it's talking to me instantly, and I have to go shut it off, which is obviously an inconvenience for me, but that's not why it's there. It's not for me.
I think Ubisoft does that too.
Yeah,
you start the game up, it's like, hello, would you like me to talk to you like this throughout the whole game? I'm like, no, stop.
But it is there for people who need it.
Yeah, sure.
And so even though I find it annoying at first, it's better that it's there than it's not. So
yeah, that's fair.
And I do think Microsoft just kind of like made an aggressive push to have that feature in their games earlier than most people. So I would like. I think Forza's newer, so I'll say Forza to get it. So, but I just to reemphasize, I think they're all winners for even doing it. So,
with the dawn of AI, your controller or speaker or microphone should just, in the very beginning, through your speaker, be like, "Hey, we have all these options. If you need any," and be like, "Yeah, I have this going on." It's like, all right, and just like set some shit up for you. That'd be cool.
That is a way to handle it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Josh.
I want and think Street Fighter 6 will take it, only because Street Fighter 6 did make it accessible for newer players by they add what is that simple combo mode, that controller scheme. Yeah, which isn't like helping the blind or anything like that, but does make it more accessible to almost anybody. And then second, Street Fighter is one of the only games where a blind guy was in Evo.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's weird. That's crazy.
First off, imagine getting your ass beat in Evo, and then you realize the guy's blind. Like, oh fuck.
I would be curious though how that system works. If it's just like beeps or something like that, where people are at, or gives you sound signatures. I'm not sure how that works.
I don't know. I don't know if it's fucking echolocation or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Well,
But,
and this sounds insensitive as fuck, and I don't mean it to. But what if it's easier to play by the sound than it is to see?
Oh yeah.
Or vice versa. But like, how do you gauge how fair it is for that fight to be? It's like when that runner guy had the Blade Runner had those feet that people were like pissed about because he didn't have his actual legs, but he had those augmented
the spring
paddles, and people were pissed because they're like, he's not running the same. But then you have it's a hard conversation to have because you're having one conversation about the morality of it, and then also the technicality of it, and it's like, how do you even quell that shit? But like, yeah, just curiosity. I don't know the details on it, so I can't have a fucking opinion, but I am curious about it because that is really crazy that a blind person can even be competitive. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Street Fighter 6 will get it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. That definitely kind of gives it an edge that we had a display of it in a competitive scene. So, all right, moving on. We got best performance awarded to an individual for voice over acting, motion, and or performance capture. The nominees are Ben Starr for Final Fantasy 16, Cameron Monaghan, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Idris Elba, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Melanie Gibbard, Alan Wake 2, Neil Newbin, Baldur's Gate 3. Who is Neil Newbin in Baldur's Gate 3?
Astarion.
He's Astarion, the vampire.
That's the one everyone loves.
Yeah.
Did Ben Starr play?
Yes.
Okay.
Clive.
Yeah. And then last we got Yuri Lowenthal, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I wish I would say who they played, just for people like me.
He's Peter Parker.
He's Peter Parker? Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. Let's start with Chevy.
This is actually really hard for me. I think both Neil and Ben did amazing jobs playing their characters. I think I'm going to go with Ben Starr, though. I actually think Final Fantasy 16 would be a lesser game without his performance.
Yeah, agreed.
But Astarion is amazing. So.
Yeah. I loaded up my game earlier this week when we were talking about this a bit in fucking what we've been playing. But I loaded up the game. I forgot what the hell I was doing. And as soon as I started, I was in camp. And I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on here? And it's like, someone needs to talk to you. I'm like, okay. I walk up to Astarion, and he's just like instantly hitting on me. I'm like, I don't remember us being this far in the conversation.
He's flirty anyways.
Instantly. He's just like laying there, like looking sassy and shit. I'm like, the fuck? What happened? I don't remember us being here like at this point. Flirting and shit. So I just thought it was funny. Very, very convincing though.
Yeah, I actually got a little, I hate even saying this, but a little uncomfortable with some of the dialogue he said when he's like, because me and Chris were playing together and Chris is romancing him. And so some of the dialogue stuff, I was like, okay, hold on. Like, you are like very convincing. So
yeah,
it's crazy. So.
True. Okay, so you picked
Ben Starr. I think Clive was amazing
for want and thing.
And I think
okay.
I think his performance was fantastic.
I will go next. I also want Ben Starr to win just because I think he did really good in 16, and I love Alan Wake 2. And I think Melanie, Libbard, did a great job. But I think Ben Starr did better. So I want him to win. I think Neil Newbin will win because not only is Baldur's Gate 3 really popular, Astarion is really popular from that game. Mm-hmm. That's the dude everyone talks about. So you got like the most popular dude from one of the most popular games, and his character played by that dude was done very well. I could see him winning for sure. I do think there's a good chance, though, that possibly Yuri Lowenthal could win just because Spider-Man is a game that everyone's playing or has played, or people on Xbox are upset they don't get to play. So a lot of eyes on that game. I think he did a really good job in the first game, at least, unless it was a different guy. I don't remember. And then Idris Elba, I think there's a really good chance he could win, too, because he's Idris Elba. Like, I just haven't played it. I didn't see his performance. I'm sure it's good, but I do think Neil Newbin will take it. I think Ben Starr should have it. So, Josh.
I think Ben Starr will win. Like Chevy said, I think Final Fantasy 16 would be just a lesser game without him.
Yeah.
I mean, Neil Newbin keeps me bricked up when I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3, but I'm probably gonna have to go for Yuri Lowenthal.
Okay.
Towards the end of Spider-Man, he acts his ass off. Like I was like, holy shit, like this is awesome. So I want him to win.
All right.
I'm also going to just throw it out there as well. I have a huge appreciation for where voice acting is these days in video gaming, man. It is taken so seriously. Nice. So,
well, yeah, you have like actual actors coming over and acting in games now, and some of them are sticking around, like that Cameron Monaghan guy. But yeah, voice acting in gaming is just as good as acting. It has been for a while, but
yeah, it's awesome.
But it's not just Troy Baker and what's his face anymore. It's a lot of people. There's a lot of people out here bringing great performances. So this one is pretty tough for me, but yeah. All right, let's move on. Very interesting. Next one is best audio design, recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. Does that count for music as well, or is that just sound design? Nope, it's not. It's not soundtrack. So this is just for audio design. The nominees are Alan Wake 2, Remedy, Entertainment, Epic Games, Dead Space, Motive Studio, Hi-Fi Rush, Tango Gameworks, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Insomniac Games, and Resident Evil 4, Capcom. So this one will be slightly easier for me just because nothing wrong with them, but when I think of them, I don't think of audio design. That's Marvel, Spider-Man 2, and Resident Evil 4. They have great audio, but I'm not thinking about them when it comes to audio design. Things I noticed in Dead Space is the ambient sounds are fantastic and keep you on edge nonstop. Really good audio design. Hi-Fi Rush is audio design. The game is audio design. Like everything about it is about timing, tempo, audio. The gameplay is based off of it. So I think it absolutely belongs here. And then Alan Wake 2 has incredible audio design. Really good stuff you want from a AAA game. They nailed it. So I think Hi-Fi Rush might win. Just because of how many people played it. Even if you didn't play it, you see a rhythm music game and you're like, yeah, audio design for sure. I want Alan Wake 2 to win it just because I'm hesitant to say that because it is phenomenal audio design, but it's expected audio design. It's what I want from AAA games, and they did it. A lot of people aren't bringing it, but they did. So, but it didn't blow my mind in the same way as like, someone being creative and making a whole game around audio design. So, yeah, it's kind of hard. But I do think Alan Wake 2's audio design is better than everyone else's here in terms of what they did with it. So I want that. I think Hi-Fi Rush will get it. Chevy.
I think and want Hi-Fi Rush to get it because it is quite literally audio design the game.
Yep.
I think
more than any game here.
If anything there actually deserves it, and not to say that the others don't, but let's be real here, that is the game. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
Josh?
I think Hi-Fi Rush will win. I would like Dead Space to win.
Yeah, fair.
I think it deserves something.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like, the other games are shit, but I think that Dead Space it is like from everything I've seen of it, it's terrifying. And especially if it's anything like the first time I played it back in the day.
It's better.
Yeah. I can only imagine. So
you will the ambient sounds, the sounds of the necromorph screaming at you, the crunchy, gushy sounds of shooting their legs off and stuff, and like the metallic, like everything about it has like such a distinct, crisp sound to it that really the atmosphere is so important to that game to keep you on edge nonstop. So yeah, it's got great sound design. So yeah, all right. Moving on to best score and music for outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack. So they don't have to be their own music.
Down by the river.
Yeah,
dude, that song,
every song in that fucking game is that song. I'm like walking through the woods, and it's like, oh, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, I get it, dude, I get it. It's a great song, but it's like the only song. No, I wasn't even thinking about that until you brought that up. I'm like, yeah, you're fucking right when you're right. Okay, so nominees. I didn't even fucking say them because I was just thinking about that song at this point. Alan Wake 2, composer Petri Alanko, Remedy Entertainment, Epic Games Publishing. Then we got Baldur's Gate 3, composer Borislav Slavov. That's quite a name. Larian Studios. Final Fantasy 16, composer Masayoshi Soken, Square Enix. That was weird because I always hear him called Soken. So I read the first part. I'm like, who's this? And then Soken. I'm like, oh, that's Soken. Okay.
Right.
Hi-Fi Rush, audio director Shuichi Kobori, Tango Gameworks, Bethesda Softworks, and then The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, composed by Nintendo Sound Team. Imagine it's like you got all these composers, and you got the sound team.
It's funny that Nintendo still lives in this world where like you can't let the devs' names be known.
Yeah.
So
they didn't have like a director of that team or anything that can get some credit.
Ever share?
They just got a bunch of Pikmin in a room, just fucking hitting keyboards and shit, making music.
I think the same thing when it comes to Square Enix and Creative Unit 1.
Yeah,
that's just the studio name.
Fucking that's studio, bro.
They introduced their employees during events and stuff, so they get
that's fair. That sounds like you walk into like a building and you're like, "Where's the Creative Unit 1 at?" And they're like, "Oh, it's on the fourth floor." Good,
but the point there was like, I don't know who works at Nintendo.
No, I get 100%. I'm just saying, yeah, Square Enix's teams are named like fucking Sony's cameras are named.
Yeah,
like, they're just like the X7501. Like it's just like
it's a Japanese thing.
Yeah, they're just like straight up to the point. All right, let's start with Josh on this one.
I want and think Final Fantasy 16 will win. Only because to this day, there's 2 or 3 songs of that game that kind of work its way around in my head, and I'll be thinking about it. I'm like, God damn, that song was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I can't say the same for the other games. Well, Alan Wake I haven't played, but
it's really good.
But yeah, so it's just, and then all I know about the Legend of Zelda is that one song. That was in the ad. That's like the saxophone.
Oh, I haven't heard it. I was gonna say I don't know any of the songs from Zelda. I didn't play it, but like a lot of times you'll hear like the themes. Well, sure, all the classic ones, but like at least with Breath of the Wild, I remember hearing like in the trailers stuff like that. Like for some reason this is like the least big spectacle Zelda game in a while. Like no one even talked about as much as Breath of the Wild. It's kind of weird.
But yeah, my vote, and I think Final Fantasy 16 will win.
All right. This one's tough for me. I'm not gonna put any of my thoughts onto Baldur's Gate 3, even though I do think it has that Zelda feeling this year for me, where I think it just could win if it's on there at all, just because it was really popular. But I think the music's good, but I don't think it's a standout from what I'm seeing here. Final Fantasy 16 soundtrack is phenomenal. From what I've played, I haven't finished it, but it's really fucking good. Hi-Fi Rush is fun and it's creative and it goes with the game itself. The game doesn't exist without it. Alan Wake 2's is really good just because it's all originally composed. The original Alan Wake had like actual licensed songs on it. I'll always remember, I think it's the 5th chapter when you beat it, Nick Cave plays, and I fucking love Up Jump the Devil. And so it's such a perfect way to end that chapter, but I think there's license issues after like 10 years, something like that. And so I think to avoid that, they made all these original songs at the end of the chapters, and they're all really well done. But when I heard the first 2 or 3 songs, I was like, who made this? Where's the song from? And I looked up and it's like, oh, they made original songs for the chapters that actually talk about what happened in that chapter in the song. And it like adds a special quality to this adventure you're going on with Alan Wake and Saga. So I really appreciate what they did there. But I also feel like Legend of Zelda is going to just win because it's going to have those Zelda bangers that everybody knows and loves. So anyway, what I want to win is between Alan Wake 2 and Final Fantasy 16. I will go with Final Fantasy 16 though, just because the original songs in Alan Wake 2 are really good. There's way more original songs in 16, and they're just phenomenal. So the creativity of Soken is just fucking just up there. So yeah, I want 16 to win. I think Zelda will win. I don't think Down by the River is strong enough.
I know people who love that soundtrack, but
it's good. But it's like, how many times you got to fucking hear that tune? The whole game, dude. I'm always hearing that song.
That aside, I want and think Final Fantasy 16 will take it. I think Soken's amazing. A lot of his music literally gives me goosebumps. So
yeah.
And that game has some really intense moments that the music is 100% the majority of the reason you're feeling that way. So
yeah, there's like crazy boss battles and shit, and it's already like, I'm like watching, like, this is crazy, but then the music's playing, I'm like, this is insane. Yeah. Like, it just adds so much to it. Yeah. So
Soken is a god. I love that man. I would be sad when he stops making music for Square. So
yeah, same. I don't even really play their games as much as you, so but I really like what he does. So okay, a lot of praise for 16 there. Let's move on. Next category, we got Best Art Direction for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. The nominees are Alan Wake 2 Remedy, Hi-Fi Rush Tango, Lies of P, Round 8, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Nintendo, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. All right, I got to really boost my boy here with Alan Wake 2 for my want. 100% want. I don't think there's any competition here. Maybe with Lies of P. It's a creative looking game, but Alan Wake 2 is like one of my favorite looking games I've ever seen in my life. So it is easily my want. I think it'll win, hopefully. Not from a maybe popular vote, but maybe by the committee, just because of, if you played the game, you recognize just how amazing the art direction in this game is. Obviously, there's something to be said about Hi-Fi Rush. It's a very colorful, fun looking game. Lies of P looks like Bloodborne. Mario looks like Mario, so I don't really know if we can really put too much praise on it for that. And Zelda looks like Breath of the Wild, so maybe it won't get the vote because of that. But I do think Alan Wake 2 deserves it 100% in this category, so I want and think that. Josh?
I was thinking about Lies of Bloodborne, but because
it's a good looking game.
Goddamn, yeah, it's awesome, and I love like that Clockwork Knight, kind of steampunky, visual style.
That's why I kind of hate when people call it Bloodborne. I was jokingly saying that because it does remind me of Bloodborne a bit, but it also takes away from its art direction when you say that, because it has its own look too.
Yeah, because Yarnum isn't anything like that, like it's way different, but. I think Super Mario Bros. Wonder is probably going to take it just because it's Mario.
That'd be devastating, but you're probably right.
But I think Alan Wake 2, I want Alan Wake 2 to win. Just from what I've seen, the game looks
it
dope,
just had like breathtaking looking environments. I just like would stop and just look at shit. I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is like, I can't believe you guys spent the time to even make these environments look like this. Like, and none of the other games made me think that. So, anything else you want to say on that?
Nope.
Okay, Chevy.
This is always such a hard category, just because, like, it's such a subjective
100%.
thing. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and agree with the Alan Wake, both on want and I think it'll get it. What I didn't play Alan Wake 2, but I did play a little bit of Control, and the stuff they were doing with that game was pretty wild. And this is just a newer game, so
yeah, this is that on crack.
So I feel pretty confident in that one. I think Lies of P, I think, is a cool looking game. It's not necessarily my style, but it is cool looking. And then Hi-Fi Rush. I have a soft spot for animation, so. Mario's Mario, and that's not a bad thing. And same with Zelda. That's not a bad thing, but I don't think neither of them necessarily stand out compared to the other three. So
yeah, they're just kind of expected in art direction, in my opinion. One thing I want to give Hi-Fi Rush real quick in art direction that technically is art direction is everything in the environment moves to the tempo of the music, which blew my fucking mind when I played that game. I was so impressed with that. The like steam's coming out to certain parts of the song, because I'm like a big like audio music dude. So like just to like listen to the song and being like looking at all the things that are happening, I was like, this is so fucking cool. And somebody decided visually that needed to be happening, and they did it, and they did a great job on it. So I would not be upset if it won at all. So
yeah.
All right, that's everybody. Let's move on to Best Narrative for Outstanding Storytelling and Narrative Development in a Game. This is going to be a tough one with nominees like Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, and Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Let's start with Chevy.
Okay. Man. So I struggle with this one because I haven't played 2, 3 of them. But I'm just going to say I think...
Talking to the mic.
I think Alan Wake 2 gets it.
I hope so.
Though I do kind of want Cyberpunk to get it, I think.
I think the fucking Baldur's Gate 3 deserves it, because the way they narrate that game through like the storytelling, I think is super creative and immersive.
I agree, and I'm super impressed with it all the time.
I love that
but
part.
I also... Yeah, that's hard, man. I think, and I haven't played Spider-Man, but Josh said that there's some intense scenes towards the end or whatever. But I think like every game on here is literally a narrative game, basically.
Yeah,
so
this is a really tough one.
Yeah, I think you kind of swayed me. I think Baldur's Gate 3 is my want, but I think Alan Wake 2, just because it is more of
it's a narrative game,
direct story with less like choices and stuff like that involved. It's just telling you like a direct story. I think it would win, but honestly, I think any of them could. So
yeah, I agree. In fact, any of these win, I'd be happy with it.
Yeah.
I do in my mind, and this is just because I haven't played Phantom Liberty yet, and I haven't played Marvel Spider-Man 2, so I have no idea of what the narrative is like and how it's told. But I have like an educated guess because I played the last Spider-Man, and I have played Cyberpunk 2077 throughout its entirety, so I know what they're kind of capable of narrative. And as much as I'm sure their storytelling is good, I don't think they'll win. So, and I don't think 16 will win either, even though I would love for it to win. So yeah, it comes down to Alan Wake 2 and Baldur's Gate 3, and it's tough because Alan Wake 2 is a narrative game. The whole game is really about the story. One guy I even saw made an argument that the game's not about the gameplay at all, it's about the story. I'm like, that's stupid, because I love the gameplay. But people are having that conversation about it. And then Baldur's Gate 3 tells a very in-depth, constantly happening story. Every step you take, there's a story being told, and the way they do it is really well done. So it's kind of tough. I'm gonna say I want Alan Wake 2. I kind of think it might win because the whole game is just the story being told. But I do think Baldur's Gate 3 will win. But this one's really tough. This one's like one of the hardest ones for me, just because they all are story-heavy games that I think all do it really well. But I don't think Cyberpunk tells a better story in its storytelling than Baldur's Gate 3 or Alan Wake 2. And I don't think Spider-Man probably does it either. But I don't know.
Yeah, and part of that too was me just wanting it to get something as well, because I think it deserves something. But when you brought up, even playing Baldur's Gate 3, when I'm talking to people and like they've programmed in responses for every little thing that you do,
and then
it's massively impressive.
And then like the DM or whatever is like talking over things happening, like this person does blah blah blah, and it just happens so naturally. I really love how they did. It's one of my favorite things about that fucking game is the way they handled the narrative. So it 100% has a chance of winning this. So does Alan Wake 2. So anyway, sorry Josh, go ahead.
That was all good. I think Alan Wake will win, just because I think it's just straight up. It's a story-based game, and Baldur's Gate 3, it is full of story, but I also think it's up to you to find that story.
Yeah, it's a choice game.
You can easily, someone's like, hey, can you help me with this? And that could be an amazing story itself, but you're like, nope. And you just walk away. Like, then your story just kind of loses steam. So
basically somebody's story could be better than somebody else's story, depending on their choices.
Yeah. When in Alan Wake 2, everybody's getting the same story. So I think it will win. I would like to see Final Fantasy 16 win. I thought its story was awesome. And pacing issues aside, I think it told a wonderful story. So
did you beat
like
it?
To see it get recognized for that. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I'm like halfway through it or something. I need to fucking sit down and beat that shit. Maybe I should prioritize that over Baldur's Gate 3. I feel like I can't beat Baldur's Gate 3, so I feel like I'm just not gonna be able to do it. So because I walk like 20 feet and all this shit's happening. So yeah, is that everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Did I go?
Yep.
Holy shit. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one, which is best game. I think we're getting close to the end of this. So
they're getting hard.
Yeah, best game direction awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. The nominees are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Let's start with Josh this time.
I'm gonna make this easy. I haven't played Alan Wake 2, so I don't really know the direction of the game. But it's Alan Wake, so I do understand that the creative vision is going to be wonderful. Baldur's Gate 3, though, I think, God, its creative vision is out of control. Like you said, there's just so many unique ways to deal with every single situation. And it's not like you're cheesing the game, because the NPCs will be like, oh, you did it like that. That's wild. So they obviously understand that people are going to try and break the shit. And yet it still is designed really well. So I want and think Baldur's Gate 3 will win.
All right, fair enough. Chevy.
I also want and think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win this one. The reason I feel like pretty confident about that is because the conversation that happened before the game even came out about people saying don't set your expectations to be this game. I think when you play it, you understand what they're talking about. The game is designed crazy well, and the game direction, though, is choose your own voice, is still leading you. You're leading. It's still leading you, even with all that choice. You're going forward constantly, and it has 3 chapters to go through and whatnot. So they did a really good job there. I think you can make a very big argument for Alan Wake 2 in the game direction and design department as well. But I just think Baldur's Gate 3 is just a bigger game that has also done that. So
I think Baldur's Gate 3 will take it, and it deserves it. I think all 5 of these games deserve it. But Baldur's Gate 3's vision, not just the gameplay, but just how they've handled everything in terms of dialogue choices, variety, all that stuff. I think it deserves it for sure. I want Alan Wake 2 to win, just because I straight up think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win Game of the Year, and so I would like Alan Wake 2 to win something close to that, and I think it deserves it. Alan Wake 2's creative vision is fucking amazing. I love it. I'm inspired by what Remedy has done with Alan Wake 2 and the evolution of their game. So I think it deserves it, but I do think Baldur's Gate 3 will take it, and I do think it deserves it as well. So wishful thinking with Alan Wake 2, but I would not be upset with really any of these games getting it. But I just don't want Zelda to take it. There's like some real Remedy fucking deserves like a big win, because they've been making great games for so long and they've just gotten better. And Baldur's Gate fucking Larian 100% deserves to win big as well, because before they were just like a darling of like the people who love the type of games they make. They're the best at it, and then they made Baldur's Gate 3 and like everybody is just like whoa. So yeah, they deserve it for sure. But Zelda. I just don't want it to take anything from any of those games. So all right, that's everything. Let's move on to Game of the Year. We're here. That is recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. The nominees are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Chevy, let's go with you.
Okay. This is really easy for me. I've played one of these games.
Okay.
So I would like it to be Baldur's Gate 3. I also think it'll be Baldur's Gate 3, especially with some precursor, outside of the fact that there is a committee making the decision and they could completely do whatever the hell they want. But we've had award shows or events happen already where it was more player oriented and it was overwhelmingly Baldur's Gate 3. So that's why I think that. And then, I can't want any of the other ones. I haven't touched them.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's fair. Josh.
I just think that right out the gate, Marvel Spider-Man 2 won't win. And that's nothing bad against it. It's just, again, it's set up in a fucking year of bangers.
Yeah.
I just think there's just better games out there.
In a different year, it could 100% be Game of the Year.
And same with Resident Evil 4.
Yeah. And Zelda.
I think that could win in a different year also. And Zelda. And Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
I'm so skeptical of that one.
What's that?
That Super Mario Bros. Game, I just really feel like it doesn't belong here for some reason. I heard it's really fun, but I just don't think it's of the same caliber as the rest of these games.
Yeah, game of the year.
It's weird. I think so too.
Yeah,
I think it's there because Nintendo.
Two Nintendo noms, it's just Anyway.
Yeah, but Alan Wake 2. I think it does deserve it. I mean, and it deserves to be here. That's the best way to put it. Remedy always does something special with their games, whether it be Control, whether it be Quantum Break,
which everybody likes now. All of a sudden, where the fuck were you when it came out?
I know.
I'm so annoyed by that. Everybody's like, "Oh, game's great." I'm like,
that's called being ahead of the time.
Yeah.
Well, I was just saying that just really goes to show you Alan Wake's 2 is so good that people want to go back and explore the rest of your catalog. And just the diehard fans of Alan Wake 1, So, plus Remedy, all these games are multi-millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And it's 200, 300, 400 million. And then Remedy makes Control on 25. I'm like,
it's pretty crazy.
What are you guys doing? So, but I digress. I do think Baldur's Gate 3 will take it, and I haven't played Alan Wake 2, so I can't judge, but I want Baldur's Gate 3 to take it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of nice to get a game that's not action advent, not God of War, not The Last of Us, it's not niche, but a tactic, a tactics game. Turn-based, getting Game of the Year, that's wild.
Yeah.
So I mean, Walking Dead got it one year. That was a pretty wild one.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Story game.
Yep. This is the only reason I even played it.
Same.
I had no interest in
amazing.
it. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. So, I was like, that one Game of the Year, why? And then I played. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, I want and think Baldur's Gate 3 will take it all.
Yeah. I 100% think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win. I'll be surprised if it doesn't, but not that surprised too, because I kind of suspect that they might not pick it and just give it to a Nintendo game. I don't know. But
to make a point.
Yeah, but I do think it's going to win. I think it created the biggest conversation in 2023, and it had the biggest splash. I think it had the biggest positive reception. So I think it'll win.
It's this year's Elden Ring.
Yeah, 100%. I want Alan Wake 2 to win for the quality that it brought and the overall, just the whole experience is worthy of Game of the Year. But I'm giving my want to Baldur's Gate 3 because it does that, but also is a game of the people. I want it to win for that, which sounds crazy. The game's high quality. It's amazing. Everyone loves it who's played it. The people who don't like it are nuanced about it, which is rare in gaming. Larian's been killing it before fucking Baldur's Gate 3. They've been working their way up to this. They deserve it. And the conversation that it started in gaming, it being a pinnacle of AAA's been fucking slacking. Everyone's been saying that for years. And then this game comes out and shows that even though it's a big team and a big budget game, it wasn't published by any of the big AAA companies. And the indie games were scared of it too. That says something. And people are backing it, and it was made for people. It respects the people who bought the fucking game. It's a love letter to the genre of games and D&D. It's just a very well-made, super ambitious, and respectful to its fans game that is rare. And because of that, as just like basically a message, I want it to win. I want it to be showcased as the best game of 2023 because of just its quality and the message it has.
Also, just to throw this out there, the licensor of the IP, who notoriously makes terrible decisions, didn't interfere with making the game.
Yeah, which is fucking crazy. Like, I'm playing the game, I'm like, how are they even involved with this game? Because this is not what I would expect from them. But Larian is just like a fantastic dev. So, and they really proved it with this game. So as much as I would love Alan Wake 2 to win, if it wins, I'll celebrate, because Remedy fucking deserves it too. They've been making great games for so long. I love all their games, and they just make better games. But Larian just is a bigger impact in gaming as a whole, not just the game itself, but what they did with this game. And I think that needs to be showcased. I don't think anybody else deserves it over them. So a lot of these games I don't even think fucking compare. But they all should be in this category. They all should be nominated. I do think the nomination shows something at the very least, that they even were considered, but it's not their year. It's Baldur's Gate 3's year. So even in the shadow of, Alan Wake 2 and how much I love that game, I have to give it to Baldur's Gate 3 just for everything it's been doing this year. So yeah, that's what I want and think. So yeah, was a fun journey. I do think Baldur's Gate 3 will. How many awards do you guys think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to take out of this?
I think it'll get almost every one of them that it's nominated for, to be honest.
I think it'll take the majority of the ones it's nominated.
I think there's
as well.
A couple that it's in there, but I don't think it's the best choice. I.e., like music. I'd be very sad if 16 doesn't get it. So
yeah, I want 16 to win something for sure. I don't think it's going to take most of the things it's part of, but I hope it gets something for sure. Alan Wake 2, I'm praying will get fucking some stuff. Just because I know it's overshadowed by Baldur's Gate 3, but it's easily one of the best games this year. But yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is going to fucking steamroll. What do you think, Josh?
I was going to say probably like 6 or so noms or awards. They've already, like, Golden Joystick, they already got that, and a shitload of those. So
yeah, I didn't pay attention to that, but I heard it did well.
Yeah, I can only imagine what the destruction it'll bring.
I'm curious about Resident Evil 4, because that's been a controversial nominee, because there's so many people out there that say they just straight up don't think remakes should belong. I don't agree with that.
I think that belongs on there more than Mario.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, I don't think Mario should be there at all. And I heard that game's awesome, but I've watched gameplay, and it's a fucking another Mario game. And if it's solid, dope. But like, you're gonna put that as game of the year, especially it got released this late, and it's like you already got fucking Zelda, which is Nintendo's game of the year nominee for sure. That should be here. But just piling on like fucking a DLC for Mario Kart or something, it's just like that doesn't sit right with me. I don't know. Not equating the two, but I guess I am. But yeah, and Spider-Man 100% should be here. It's just not. It's not a good year for it. Like I saw that game and I'm like, yeah, that's a AAA Insomniac game. It's gonna be fucking solid. In a different year, that shit would fucking beat everything. But there's just like a couple games this year that I'm like, those are some pretty big outliers. So
yeah,
yeah. All right. Well, you guys have anything else to say about the Game Awards or the nominees?
No.
I think they did a pretty good job. Outside of a couple weird spots, like, I do agree that a massively funded game probably shouldn't be an indie game.
Yeah,
and
I don't like that.
I do think they probably could have vetted their Game of the Year selection a little better.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be things I like. I mean, I'm never gonna play Alan Wake 2 or Resident Evil or Zelda. And probably the only reason I'm gonna play Spider-Man is because I'm obligated to. It's on our Game of the Month list, so it's gonna come up eventually. They're just not my types of games.
Well, and like people were asking, where's Final Fantasy 16? Where's oh no, there's like 2 other games people were really bringing up a lot, and I can't remember them now off the top of my head. But I even made the argument, even though I'm not the biggest fan of it, I think it would have been nice at the very least, because early on people were saying it should be Game of the Year. Oh, Hogwarts Legacy. I think that should have maybe been where Mario's at as well, even though everybody forgot about it. But like even like Starfield, I don't think Starfield has a fucking chance to win Game of the Year. But it would have been nice to see some representation for Xbox up there, give people a choice to vote for it, see what they think. I know a lot of people really liked it. Even though it was corrected on my TikTok with a lot of people telling me, no, it shouldn't be there. So I'm like, okay, you said it. I didn't love it, but I'm just thinking, Xbox should be up there, not 2 Nintendo games. Because we got Sony up there as well. So it's just like, but whatever. Yeah, I feel like Mario definitely should have been swapped out with something else. So, although maybe I'll play it and be like, holy shit, this was Game of the Year 2023. What the fuck was I talking about? Maybe I'm just stupid. I don't know. But
you could be an elephant. Amazing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to remind you guys, though, that when the Game Awards happens on the 7th, we will likely do a live stream. It will be later because we work, but we will do that. So if you're part of our Discord, which is linked down below, you can talk to us anytime, all the time. Make sure you don't spoil anything for us because we want to go into that as blind as possible. It also is always a risk when we stream it that some guy will come in and be like, what do you think about what won for Game of the Year? Yeah, sometimes I just want to turn the chat off for that, but maybe I should see if there's a filter option for if someone mentions something like that, I can mute it or something. But that's always annoying because we want to go in blind. But anyway, that's all I'm saying is that, people in the Discord are really good about not spoiling shit for us, so we want to go into that as blind as possible. But we'll be streaming that, so look forward to that. When that does happen, we'll see who wins and see if we're right or wrong. And yeah, I want to thank Chevy for joining me for this big long conversation. Always a pleasure. And then Josh, thank you for joining us again. You're welcome back anytime, of course. So and we'll probably see you soon for our Game of the Year discussion at the very least. Also, TasteCast 200 I would like to get everyone together for as well, so we'll see if we can pull that off. But yeah, thanks for joining me and having this conversation. Thank you all for joining us for this conversation if we made it through the whole thing. And yeah, I've been Seth, and we'll talk to you guys later.